What's going on, people? What's going on? Hey, we getting right into it, guys. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I need y'all to press a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me. Press 2 if you can't. We're going to get right into it, guys. Diddy, not guilty. Guys, I know I didn't talk much about the Diddy saga, but the times I have talked about it, I got to say, I was right. So let's get into it right now, guys. What's going on, people? It's that dude named Dave. I am back. It's TD&D Live. It is hump day, okay? July 2nd. It is the first live of the live stream of the month here, guys. Hey, I'm going to get right into it. I'm not playing around. I want to jump right into the dick-nanigans here. But before we do, guys, I just got to do the little intro out the way. Super chat, super thanks, super stickers, and the Cash App, $, that dude named Dave is how you can contribute to the channel. Also, guys, I need you to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, guys, because you know what, though? Your boy keeps constantly getting shadow banned. You know what I'm saying? But we still here and we're still cooking here, right? But check it out. If you guys can't support the channel with the monetary way, go in the description box below. We rock with Temu, brand ambassador here. You know what I'm saying? We got a couple of affiliate links, guys. The one link down there below is for the 30% off if you do your first purchase on the Temu app, guys. That's right, y'all. And also, we got another affiliate link for the $100 coupon bundle. That's right, guys. That's right here. And on top of that, too, if you are trying to be a content creator, I hate to lose you guys, you know, because y'all watch me. If you become a content creator, you won't be watching me. But check it out. We got an affiliate link for StreamYard down below here, right? If you look at my channel, you look at all my videos, my very first video was on February 7th, 2022. We're recording this on July 2nd, 2025. And all 1,000 plus of my videos from live streams, VODs, shorts, etc. has been done on StreamYard. Click on that affiliate link below, and then y'all can get on your way to becoming a content creator, or if you got a business and do webinars and everything like that. But if you got to start somewhere, start with StreamYard. Okay, guys, we gonna get this off the ground here, guys. Like, I'm not wasting around. I'm not taking no filler here. I don't know who's gonna show up here for this live stream here. You know, I've been gone for, for about a week or so, give or take here. But, you know, I had to talk about Diddy. My boy T. Orlando hit me up. So you gonna stream on this today? Hell yeah, I'm gonna talk about this today. You know what I mean? So this thing has been going on for a while, and I gotta say something. Shout out to Go Creek Creek, because I joined her live stream, I believe on Sunday night. She just got monetized. And so we were talking on her channel regarding Diddy. And I was trying to explain some things here, guys. One of the things that I was talking about here is I've never, ever heard of a one-man Rico. Okay? But wait, before I get into here, let me just put the chat up here. Shout out to everybody in the building here. Pooh Man, dropping the Cash App, $, that dude named Gabe, how you can support me. Yes, you can follow me on X, Twitter, that's right, guys. You can follow me on Instagram. Pooh Man says also for your device, become a member from the AIC tribe members, that's right there. Shout out to y'all there. And shout out to Thomas in the building as we're just getting started here, okay? So let me take off the ticker down below here because I want to get it going here, guys. I want to get this going. And I got to say this here. We never know what's going to happen when we have these high profile cases, and especially dealing with a black man, what's going to happen here. But when I was on Go Creek Creek's channel on Sunday, the one thing that I was talking about too, she had someone on her channel named Trent. Shout out to you, bro. Say he used to watch me back in the day. And what he was trying to explain to me was that, you know, the prosecution didn't put everything on Diddy. And I said, no. What we have here is a prosecution that overcharged Diddy. They threw everything but the kitchen sink, hoping something would stick here. And what do we see here, guys? Let's just keep it a buck, and a spade here, right? I know there's content creators out there that's going hard on Diddy yesterday, right? I know they were going hard on Diddy, right? And here's what I want to tell y'all. I'm not here to support Diddy. No, I can't stand Diddy, right? I'm not here to support Diddy. What I'm here is from the get-go, from the first live stream last year when we saw the raise and we finally saw him arrested until now today, and then we're waiting to see if he's going to get let out on bail, was the fact that this is a I'm white and I say so case. This is an I'm white and I say so case, right? We've never seen these kind of charges on somebody that's going to stick. And the ones that Diddy get found guilty of, guys, let's keep it a buck here. This would not have gone this far. He would not have gone to jail if those charges were the only charges that was there. he would have not had that situation here. Let's just put that out there, guys. Hey, what's going on, Jay Walker? Salute to you. Coming into the building here. Thomas says the prosecution had overplayed their hand. Yes, they did. What's going on August 9th? The prosecution should be fired. Man. They threw everything but the kitchen sink in the thinnest thing. Think about this, guys. We're going to get into it. I'm just doing a little summary here. We're going to get into it. They dropped some charges last weekend. Remember that? We had charges that was dropped this past weekend. Then the 3 most serious charges was found not guilty. And the 2 charges that he was found guilty of, basically the man there. Basically, they gave him the same trial, the same thing of Jack Johnson, former heavyweight champion of the world, back in 1913. There is no way that this case, a judge, any federal judge, would have took this case if all they had was the 2 that was actually put on Diddy right now, guys. But as we get started here, I want to bring on the screen here what he was convicted of, and we're going to get into it here. Thomas says the domino effect has just begun. Amen. Let's do this here. Let's talk about the charges and go over everything here, guys, right? So let me put it on the screen here. I'm ready to talk about this. Okay, whoops, there we go. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Let's go over it really fast here, guys. The charges against Combs are count 1, racketeering conspiracy. Count 2, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, Cassie Ventura. Count 3, transportation engaged in prostitution, Cassie Ventura. Count 4, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, Jane Doe. Count 5, transportation to engage in prostitution, Jane. Jane is a pseudonym used in court for an ex-girlfriend of Combs who testified against him. Now, let me move up back to the big box here. Let me get up here. No, I'll stay right here. The Jane Doe, guys, is 50 Cent's baby mama. That's what we're talking about here. The prosecution was doing everything possible to see if this man was guilty by using 2 key witnesses of who? Cassie and 50's baby mama. Okay? 50's baby mama. And they basically got him on the Mann Act here. Let's scroll down here, guys. We're going to get into it here. What is the Mann Act? The prostitution-related charge, alleged violation of the Mann Act, a law that makes it a federal crime to transport someone across state lines for prostitution. The charge of racketeering conspiracy requires prosecutors to prove a number of elements: that there was an agreement among 2 or more people to participate in a pattern of activity that would affect interstate commerce, that the defendant willfully joined it, and the members of the conspiracy committed 2 or more racketeering acts. The charging document lists a number of alleged racketeering acts, including kidnapping, bribery, sex trafficking, and forced labor. Prosecutors allege Combs' business empire created a criminal enterprise that he used for years to cover up acts of violence and abuse to coerce women into fulfilling his sexual desires. Jurors heard more than over 30 witnesses over the course of 7 weeks after the prosecution went through his case. Combs denied the accusations, but chose not to take the stand and testify in his defense. His attorneys did not call any witnesses during the trial, though they did not conduct extensive cross-examinations of the government witnesses. Combs' lawyers argued the prosecution failed to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, guys, we went over the Mann Act. We went over the charges here. Let me go back to the big box. Big box here. Why did I say I was right, guys? There's a couple of things why I said I was right. When I said I want to go Creek's channel on Sunday, I'll just give you a summary. I didn't get a chance to go back to pull her video. Shout out to her getting her channel monetized, right? What I was saying here is that to prove a RICO case, and I'm not a legal mind, right? I'm just some hack that understands a few things here and there, right? But we've never seen a one-man RICO where that basically you got to prove that Diddy was the muscle, like he used by force, coercion to tell people, you gonna come over here and get this freak off on. On top of that, too, using this company as a front to funnel money to pay for said pros. And on top of that, too, saying that he was beating them down and everything, and he was the muscle, the money, and also he get it in Dirk Diggler style. I got a short form. I got a short form that, you know what I'm saying? Thomas says, Cassie knows that Diddy won't forget what she did, especially she was part of the freak-offs. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. So the fact that I was saying here for almost about a year, guys, if they were able to get guilty on a RICO charge, that would set a legal precedent. Some people may say, Dave, what the hell are you talking about? Some lawyers may say, I don't know, Dave, but think about it now. If you could force a legal precedent where one man is involved in a RICO case where you can prove that he is the money, the muscle, and committing all these acts by himself, basically. But of course, you know, you had one witness step up saying, like, you know, Cassie, well, I'm the victim and I want to bring this case here because I want to do things for victims. Okay. That means that it will have been open season, floodgates for any criminal that's out here that they can say we could put a RICO on them, right? All these rappers that be rapping about the crimes they be committing in their raps, cats you see in Chicago committing crimes, New York, California, organized criminal organizations, they would have used Diddy as case law. What's going on, Ty Pro? They would have used Diddy as case law to go ahead and go after all you dirty mofos. Because all you need is one person to bring that down. So that was one thing I said, right? Another thing I said, too, was 8 months ago. I said 8 months ago, guys, that this is going to be a case for the passport bros and all you young single brothers out there, maybe you older single brothers out there who out there part of the flew out gang. I haven't talked about this 8 months, but we talked about this last year. I said if they were able to get Diddy guilty on this here, that means that every one of you mofos here, that, you know, you be on IG, you know, you go talking to a girl, you know, you're like, you know, you've been hollering at her, you don't know she's a pro, she a little sneaky little thing like that, you know, you little sex worker, you know. But think about it now. They got Diddy guilty on saying that he paid for pros and flew them in town. Okay, think about it, guys, for the flew out crew. You see a chick on IG, you pay for her plane ticket to fly back in town, and then you guys go ahead and do y'all little sexual innuendos, right? She goes back like Cassie and says, oh, I don't like it, he hurt me. We got the man act, guys, right here. So I said this 8 months ago, guys. I was right on the money on this 8 months ago. If they were gonna get Diddy on anything, it was gonna be this here. And if they do get him on this here, this is gonna be for y'all cats to be looking out. So y'all gotta stop flying these chicks out, guys. Y'all gotta know the fly out crews, y'all need to slow it down. I don't know, maybe that you make the girl pay her own plane ticket. And then when she gets in here, you break up the money and give it to her in her pocket saying gifts. But guys, if you go out here and you fly these chicks out and then they got the receipt that you paid for the plane ticket and she comes to your neck of the woods and then next you know you get down and dirty and you fly her back, and then if she feels like Cassie, even to the 1% version of Cassie, and she goes to the po-po, guys, you are catching a case. I said it 8 months ago in November, and here we are in July right now. And what they got Diddy on? Flying Rico, flying, what's the other guy's name? The Smasher, the Punisher, flying these guys out to do the dizzle here, right? What's going on, DRX? Good to see you. August said that is wild, exactly. What's going on, MOP? We just getting started here. We said Thomas says, now they're giving Pips long distance for pimping. Yeah, no more long distance relationship. Hey, guys, that I said this in October, November, that the flew out crew was going to be impacted here. All right? We're going to talk about multiple things here, right? But the thing is, and I was on a message channel earlier, and I was trying to explain something to her, but I get a chance because she dropped off her live stream. They try to use Diddy as the forefront here. You put this case out there so that the lower tier, the regular brothers like us, regular guys who do not have Diddy's money, who do not have access to Diddy's resources, or who has access to Diddy's type of lawyers anywhere around, that if you had a case like this, you're not gonna be able to fight it because you don't have the money or the time. You're gonna have to cop a plea. And that's what the feds rely on, for you to cop a plea because they got the more resources. But what happens when you have a man who has more money than the feds and that they have a janky case? All you got to do is throw enough on there to see if you can fight this bad boy. Something that we don't have, guys. Something that we don't have. But here's what I want to do here. I want to get right into Cassie's statement. Cassie made a statement, guys. Cassie made a statement through her lawyer saying that Cassie better be lucky they're not going after her next. Well, you know what, though, Thomas? She cut a deal. Thomas, she cut a deal. Anytime that you have a witness that is on the stand for the prosecution, there has to be something behind the scenes that whatever they're going after Diddy, they're not going to charge her in cooperation for her testimony on the stand. So they're not going to go after her. You know what I'm saying? She came up. She got a payment from, and here's the thing, guys, too. Diddy should have never paid her $20 million. Diddy should never pay. Think about it. She tried to get money out of Diddy. Diddy called her bluff. The hotel video got released. Remember the hotel video that could not be prosecuted because past the statute of limitation. He cuts a check. Then after he cuts a check, that's when the feds start coming down, and then we get the raise, and then we get the arrest. I don't know if I'm you, but if I'm Diddy, guys, I think I'm making stop payments on anything going to Cassie right now, y'all. I'm making stop payments to anything Cassie right now because, damn it, why even cut a check if you're going to be not guilty? But check it out, guys. Let me play a quick excerpt. Oh, what's going on, Terrence? Good to see you. Yeah, it's a crazy day, man. It is a crazy day. Let's bring up Cassie's statement from her lawyer, guys. Let's get that out the way right now. I want to play that.
Sean Diddy Combs has been acquitted of the most serious charges in his sex trafficking trial. After the rap mogul's 7-week federal trial in New York City, a jury found him guilty on 2 out of 5 charges on Wednesday morning, following more than 12 hours of deliberation. The 55-year-old was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but he was found not guilty of 1 count of racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion. Combs, who pleaded not guilty to all charges, now faces a sentence of up to 20 years, up to 10 years in prison per count, according to NBC News. The outlet added that prosecutors would seek the maximum of 20 years in total. Had the rapper been convicted of the more serious charges, he could have faced life in prison. Access Hollywood obtained a statement from Cassie Ventura's lawyer, Doug Wigder, who spoke out minutes after the verdict was reached. This entire criminal process started when our client Cassie Ventura had the courage to file her civil complaint in November 2023. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of sex trafficking Cassie beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for a jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. By coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. We must repeat, with no reservation, that we believe and support our client who showed exemplary courage throughout this trial. She displayed unquestionable strength and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of survivors.
Okay, guys. That's the statement from Cassie, short from her lawyer, short and sweet here. Basically what they're saying is, hey, we did something for survivors. No. If anything, this case is a blow to actually sex assault victims. Because at the end of the day, the jury said, if we got to follow the teeth of the law, yeah, he did pay for pros and come across state lines, and they engaged in sexual activities. So when we look at the definition of the letter of the law, yeah, he's guilty of these crimes here. We're going to do this one here. But when we look at the racketeering charges, the jury said, we don't believe you, Cassie. The jury said, we don't believe you, Jane Doe. That's huge, guys. The jury said, we don't believe you, Cassie. We don't care how much you're crying on the stand. We don't care how many details that you give us, because for everything that we saw in that hotel video or text messages of Diddy being violent, we have just as much or more audio information, videos, text messages that Cassie volunteered in the freak-offs, guys. Matter of fact, Cassie and Jane Doe, 56 baby mama, I can't think of her name right now. Is her name Daphne? I can't think of her name right now, guys, right? But basically, we had freak-offs where Diddy wasn't even there in the room. Guys, there were freak-offs with Jane Doe and Cassie and no Diddy. They were doing freak-offs without Diddy. See, a lot of people, of course, hates Diddy. Hold on, what are you saying here, Clifton? You come and say, Thomas says, hey, Cassie's full of it. This says, yeah, going across state lines is a federal crime of the Mann Act. Yeah, that's what I was saying here. 1913, when Jack Johnson got caught with that case, Clifton, I was talking about that. Jack Johnson in 1913. But basically, Clifton, that's also another I'm white and I say so, because Jack Johnson loved him some white women. And he's the heavyweight champion of the world and knocking every white boy out. He was just driving around town, driving across this with white girls in the passenger seat saying, I'm going to bang these white girls because these white girls want me and we going to get it in. That's how they got Jack Johnson. Guys, the same thing with Diddy. Cassie may not be white, but she ain't black either. She's white adjacent. You see who she married? A white trainer. You see how these women who are other ethnic groups, you know how they get down? They may go, when they're younger, they get down the soul pole. When they get older, what do? They go ahead and marry their white little Chad there, guys. What's going on, Peter? Thank you, Thomas Daphne Joy. That's what I thought. I thought her name was Daphne. Right? 50 Cent's baby mama. She was doing freak-offs on her own with Daphne Joy. There's text messages that state that she was doing so much you know what. You know, her mouth was so sore and raw. She was just taking D after D after D and kept sucking D after D after D and kept getting sores without the STDs and kept going more, kept taking more D on D in the mouth. Voluntarily with Diddy not around. So the jury is saying, Cassie, you are not a victim. Some things happen where you are a victim, but that's not on trial here. We believe that you are involved just as much as Diddy is here, guys. Let me see here. What are you saying? Yep, that's what I'm just saying here. To get Jack Johnson, Clifton, that's what we're talking about. 1913. Look it up, people. What's going on, Jurgen? Good to see you. So, what I was saying on the channel here on Go Creek's channel was they did everything they could to throw as many charges on there to see what sticks. And this is bad because this is the feds. It's not a state charge like of Young Thug, right? Normally when the feds bring a charge like this, they have with a 95% conviction rate here. And the Southern District doesn't play when it comes to New York. So for them to bring this case, for Diddy's lawyers not to bring up no witnesses, not even put Diddy on the stand, hey, we already know. Hey, Go Creek, what's going on? I'll just bring you up. Hey, Creek, I'm glad you're here. I got the link here if you want to come up here because I was just talking about how I was on your channel on Sunday night. And if you remember, Creek, when we were talking the trend, and what did I say? I said they try to throw as many charges on Diddy, and the fact that all of those were not sticking. Trent was trying to say they leave some things out. They could, no. They did everything possible because the two charges that he was guilty on, they would not have put him in jail. The two charges he's guilty on, he would have got bail right off the rip. The two charges would have got him probably probation. That's why they threw these other charges so that they can show that he was a threat to society and to keep him locked up. And then they did the I'm white and I say so. So you dared to say that. Exactly. They did everything there to keep him there because the two lesser charges was not enough to keep him in jail for a year, let alone not even give him bond. We remember during Thanksgiving, we did multiple live streams during the Thanksgiving weekend if Diddy would get out on bail, guys. And we looked at all the things like he should get out on bail, but they used that RICO charge. And even though the hotel video, remember I was talking to the other girl on your channel, Cree, about that video. The video was not on trial of the hotel security footage. The video was used to set him up character-wise, to show him as somebody who's a threat, who puts hands. That was the coercion. That was trying to put that RICO in there, but that was not on there. It was for showing that this is his character. This is how he moves, right? And let me take this for the record here, guys, before I get to my next point here. I'm not here to support Diddy. I don't like Diddy. But what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Just because you are a freaky person, just because you like freaky dicky sex, just because you like to get down with dudes, just because you and your girl want to get down with dudes and girls at the same time, just because you do all kinds of unimaginable things, it doesn't make it guilty that you did something here. What we saw here is two freaky people in Cassie and Diddy who, after a decade, had a falling out, She's mad that she wasn't the ringleader of the freak off to be the number one, got in her feelings, got with a lower tier white man, and then sued so that she can get some money because the white trainer he's a goddamn trainer. You think he got any money? He says, right. They already said the video wasn't part of the charge because of the statute of limitations. That's what I was trying to explain to on your channel there, Cree. That was only used as character to showcase this the kind of man he is. He says, even after the verdict, some of the women are still defending Cassie, and you're absolutely right about your point of the video. Exactly. Know why they're supporting Cassie? Because there's gonna people out here, no matter what, that's gonna say she's a victim, she's a woman, and because of the hotel video, that he's guilty regardless. And here's what I would say here. If the video was not past the statute of limitation, if we had domestic violence charges in the affidavit here, and as well as on trial, you would not get any bones about me. I said, yeah, he's guilty. We see it. I did a reaction video on it. We got him on video, putting hands on Cassie, slamming to the ground and dragging her. Yes, he is. If that was on trial, he would be guilty, guys. But DV was never a part of the case. Let me repeat again for people that want to believe Cassie and think that he's guilty. If he's guilty, then that hotel video should have been used years ago. If he's guilty, Cassie should have came forward years ago. What's going on, Derek? Good to see you. Says, I thought they would get RICO arson charges for blowing up the car. They dropped that, Terrence, last week. See, Terrence, before we got to the yesterday and today with the jury, before the weekend last week, the arson charge is involved with Kid Cudi back in 2012 or 2010. They threw that out. They dropped it because it had no legs. And you know why it didn't have any legs? Kid Cudi took the stand and his testimony was damning to the prosecution. Yeah, you didn't know that, Terrence? It said black brick-faced people. So you didn't know that. Check us out, Terrence. Yes. See, regarding that charge there, Terrence, that was involving Kid Cudi. The feds made Kid Cudi testify. If you go back and hear Kid Cudi's testimony, it was not pro-prosecution. As a matter of fact, he had everybody laughing in the courtroom. He had everybody laughing in the courtroom, guys. So you know what that means? It's like, yo, they didn't have anything to leg on. The defense, Diddy's lawyers didn't even bring anybody to counteract Kid Cudi. So when it came to last weekend, they dropped that charge. They dropped those charges last week, and then the 3 major charges were found not guilty. Yeah. Man law is what I heard they got them on. Man Act, Derek, Man Act. Basically, you can't take women across state lines with having sex with them and using money involved for coercion in some form or fashion, or in this case, too, because there were male prostitutes, prostitution in general. You know what I'm saying? Says being a woman does not automatically mean being a victim. You're right about that. The judge say no bail to Diddy. They just said that now? Okay. They just said that? Hold on. I'll get to that in a second here. They said no bail right now. Check it out. Let me talk about that. Even if he gets no bail, guys, we're going to play a video. He's not getting 20 years. The 2 counts serve 10 years apiece. Means if you stack them together, it'll be 20 years. He's not. He's not. And if you add the fact, too, that the most that they would try to throw is 10 years. But there is previous cases with the exact same charges where men actually walked out time served or served probation, and these were lesser tier men. I'm going to bring this video out in a second to talk about there, guys. Said feds dropped a lot of loops. Yes, they did. It says the video was disturbing, disgusting, but the actions and the sequences of the events prior to the video with the freak-offs and how she orchestrated them should have made her more accountable. Know why it wasn't made her more accountable? She cut a deal, Peter. There's no way that she's on the stand first if the feds say, don't worry, whatever we get Diddy on, you're clear as long as you come correct here with us. What's going on, Chucky? Good to see you. Here's what I want to do here, guys. I want to play a video from CNN earlier today, right? And the lawyers and them talk about this in detail as far as what happened here. And I got to say, guys, I'm not trying to say that I'm right and I say so here. It did not pass the smell test. We need black folks to open up here. You ain't got to like Diddy. You can hate Diddy. You can despise Diddy, right? But here's the point here. If they got Diddy on these charges, the point is the lower tier men who catch these charges will not have a chance because you don't have the resources, the lawyers, or the money to fight like Diddy did here. So let me bring up CNN right now. I want to play this video from CNN. Let me bring this up here, and I want to react to this here. It says, I think they pulled his ninja card just to put him in play. Oh, of course. That's of course, Derek. Of course they did. What's going on? What's going on, Jay? It says, I have heard it could be 6 to 8 total years, but that sounds high. No, check a clip, and he ain't getting 6 to 8 years. He's not. They'll appeal that. There is, well, matter of fact, let's play the video, guys. Don't take my word for it. Let's go to CNN here. Said Cosby didn't smell it. Exactly. Cosby should never have that trial. We're going to get into that, guys. Let's do this. Let me bring this on the screen here.
By Sheree Hayes. Now, for anybody who's been following this case, you will know who Mr. Hayes is, also referred to as the Punisher during the course of this case.
What's wrong one, guys? Hold on.
Mr. Hayes, who's also by...
Hold on. Sorry, guys. Wrong video. Here we go here.
Here is former Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, Ellie Honig, and former federal prosecutor Elliot Williams. So, Ellie, I'm going to start with you. The 2 counts that he was found guilty of, as we've been saying, they're certainly not the most significant, serious charges that he was facing.
Yeah.
But they're not nothing.
They're not nothing, but they're not much either. I mean, in the scheme of this case, the 3 counts where Sean Combs was found not guilty, the racketeering and the 2 forcible sex trafficking counts, those were existential threats. I mean, if Sean Combs had been convicted of either of them, he may well have spent the rest of his life behind bars. He definitely, automatically would have spent at least 15 years behind bars. There's no way to spin this other than a massive victory for Sean Combs and a massive setback for the Southern District of New York. It's a good reminder. Juries surprise us all the time. Juries can be discerning. They went count by count here. They didn't just sort of sweep the table and say all guilty, all not guilty. They made very fine distinctions between mere interstate prostitution, which they found him guilty of, and on the other hand, forcible sex trafficking, which they found him not guilty of. So Sean Combs, Kara just said Sean Combs' legal team was exulting and celebrating. They deserve it. They pulled out a miraculous outcome for their client.
Hold on. Before we go on further, guys, before we go further, that's the reason why those charges from last week and these charges that were found not guilty, these are the main charges that got him in jail, got the raid, and then got him denied bail. What he was found not guilty, we wouldn't be here today, guys. This would have been done by Thanksgiving last year. Remember, if what he's found guilty on today, if that was all that the feds had, he would have never seen a jail cell except when they arrested him, put his fingerprints on the thing, right? And then take his mugshot, right? And his lawyers were there to get his black ass out. It was these charges that were found not guilty and the ones that were dropped last week, the reason why that he was locked up. And they say he was locked up and could have got 15 years. Let's go.
And Elliot, on those charges that he was acquitted of, the most serious, racketeering and sex trafficking, the racketeering conspiracy was the most difficult to prove. But on both, generally, as somebody who has prosecuted cases, what was missing from their case?
Well, it's hard to say what was missing. It's certainly what I think the jury had trouble with. Now, let's take them both separately. On the racketeering, prosecutors would have had to establish the existence of a criminal enterprise, even an informal one, not necessarily an incorporated business, but certainly something concrete whereby this is the person who's the muscle, this is the person who gets the drugs, this is the person who beats people up, and this is how our sex acts are protected here. That's a big leap from isolated acts of whether they were sexual assault or isolated acts of prostitution. Putting them under that big umbrella was just going to be hard. And much of the commentary, frankly, even from the two of us since the beginning of this, Laura Coates has been saying this a lot on air as well. Much of the commentary has been, it would have been quite challenging to establish that racketeering conspiracy. On the sex trafficking, the biggest problem, and this comes up in sexual assault and harassment cases all the time, is this question of the consent of the survivor of the victim. And those text messages that came up in court were not very good for the prosecution. By way of example, one of them, Jane, one of the victims, Sean Combs texts her and says, "Are we getting freaky tonight?" referring to these freak-offs. And she responds, "Yeah." OFC, of course. Now, again, there's far more in the record than that, but what you have in a text electronic format is a victim consenting to a sex act with the defendant. You had that throughout the relationship. These were complex, fraught, ugly, violent relationships, but also ones in which, yes, they were consensual relationships, and I think the jury got hung up on that.
And Ellie,
I was on mute. Let that linger, guys, for a second. Text messages were that being involved in freak-offs, insane, of course. We're not talking communication where that they had evidence that they were in the same room together or they're having a phone conversation being recorded and Diddy's yelling saying, you gonna do these freak-offs or else. You gonna go ahead and get down with the Rico or else. You are going to go ahead and get down the Punisher or else. You know what the text messages were? Just simple conversation you may have with your girl, guys, or ladies with your guy. Hey, what's going on? Nothing, boo. What you got going on? Hey, I was trying to say you going to come over tonight. You know I want to come over tonight, Big Daddy. All right, then you know to get down, do what you got to do. That's where the text messages we're talking about here. That was the communication. Them volunteering to be involved in this. Them actually, there's so much of evidence of them actually saying, we will do this, we'll set it up. I'm begging for, we ain't had one in a long time. We're well overdue. Let's continue.
let's talk about what we're waiting for right now. And again, it's 12:10 Eastern. The judge says that he will make a decision by 1, which is in the next 50 minutes or so. So we're on pins and needles right now to see whether or not Sean Diddy Combs is released on bail.
Do not be surprised if at some point this afternoon we see Sean Combs walking out those doors right there. And here's why. Let's take the celebrity factor out of this. If this was not Sean Combs, if this was just some run-of-the-mill unknown New Yorker who had only been convicted of what we call the Mann Act, of non-forcible interstate prostitution, he would walk today. Because Sean Combs has been behind bars for nearly a year. He was arrested last summer, and he has been locked up since then without bail. And so the likely sentence the judge would calculate is going to be probably something in the realm of time served, meaning the year or so that he's already served. The judge may impose a little more than that, but the judge is going to be thinking, okay, the whole math here has now changed. The most serious offenses, the 15-year minimums, the RICO, the life max, they're off the table. And so I'm not going to make a prediction, but I am also, my jaw's not going to be on the floor if Sean Combs walks out of that courthouse in a couple hours.
So you think...
Hold on, we had just got news. As we're going on this live stream right now, we're live, that Diddy was denied bail. Let me read you guys what they stated here. It says here, sentencing is scheduled for this fall. The judge ordered all sides to return to court on October 3rd for sentencing, but noted that the date could move up if Combs' team seeks to expedite it. So the defense is seeking a term of 21 to 27 months, while the government hopes for 51 to 63 months. Combs will get credit for the time he has spent detained so far. So before we get back to the video, this is a couple hours ago, because the judge is supposed to come back at 1 p.m. And of course, now it's after 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern time that we're doing. It's almost 6 o'clock Eastern right now, right? So we're looking at October 3rd, but also, it could come sooner if Diddy's lawyers is able to make the judge expedite it and make it possible here. So, you know what I mean? Let's just put it out there that he does wait till October 3rd. That happens. He will have at least almost close to over a year of time served. And then what we're talking about here with CNN, talking about if there was anybody else here, it would have been time serving here to walk right now. So I think that they're making a show right now saying, hey, he is guilty of these charges here. It is a big time case here right now. We're going to make you stew in this jail cell just a little bit longer. But knowing what all the legal experts are saying, by the time we do get to this hearing here, there is a damn good chance that Diddy is home before Halloween, guys. Let's get back to the video and hear some more of this information.
Do you think, and do you agree with this, that it is possible, take the bail question out, but when...
Hold on, let me get back to it here. It says, so it's looking like 2 or 3 years. Here's what they're gonna do here. Diddy's lawyers is asking for 20, let me read this back to you, Ty. This lets you know how this is gonna go down. Diddy's lawyers already said the defense is seeking a 21 to 27 month term. So that's looking at 1 year, 9 months to 3 years. But by the time that we get to the hearing, he would already have 1 year served, which means that if that was the case of what the lawyers are looking for, he would have already served over 50% of his sentence if they give him that, which means that they will then that'll work for him to get out of jail. So they're looking for this term here, but then saying, hey, we served this amount of time served, release out on bail. That's the case here that his lawyers are looking for. Now let's get back to the video.
But when it comes to sentencing, that he will only
What's going on,
get
Divine?
time served?
He could only get time served because he's already been in for close to a year, if not a little more than a year.
So it's maximum 10, but is there a minimum?
Maximum 10.
No minimum.
There's no mandatory
No
minimum
minimum.
like there would have been on the sex trafficking count. Now, again, we got to get out of our minds this idea of 20 years in prison.
Right.
That is if you were to take what the law says and stack both cases on top of each other. One, it's highly unlikely that a judge would do that. And two, virtually nobody gets the full statutory amount. And three, based on criminal history, the nature of the offense and so on, it is highly unlikely that someone would get even close to the statutory maximum. Now, he'll be sentenced.
Hold on, let me pause that here. You hear that, guys? This is Diddy's first situation here. This is Diddy's first major case. He does not have a record. Now, we know Diddy has a history. We talk about the J-Lo case back in the day. He didn't take the fall for the J-Lo case. Shine in that shooting the club took that fall, guys. This is, when you look at everything, this is Diddy's first major offense. We got to understand it here. Even though we know him and watched him and Mr. Take that, right? We understand that. We all have our what we look at Diddy. We've been around Diddy forever, right? Back when he first came out with Uptown Records and started Bad Boy and all the stuff. People think that he may have been involved in Biggie's death. Whatever the case may be, what is actually his record? He don't got one. So we're looking at someone with a clean record. And then we're looking at you trying to give someone the maximum. You don't give someone the maximum unless you got this preponderance evidence to say he's a danger to society and he got to stay locked up. Hey, what's going on, Shadow? Good to see you. Let's get back to the video here.
In probably a few months, there's a complicated process whereby both parties submit what they think he should get, and it's really up to the judge. But to be clear, and this is sort of what we were talking about a second ago, he's not going to jail for a long time. Mm-hmm. He could certainly get some jail time, but it is highly unlikely. And again, not going to be 20 years. Not.
And you're just quickly in both of your experience in the courtroom, how much does the judge take outside factors into, I know they're not supposed to, but they're human, and they also are people of the world. Outside factors meaning the focus on this. I mean, you heard Laura saying it's this generation's OJ trial. How much, and obviously there are a lot of differences there, but just when it comes to a celebrity facing a lot of time in prison, at least before.
Judges are not supposed to take those factors into account outside of the courtroom. They can and they do sometimes. But I want to say this. Judges feel burned when you overcharge a case like this, as the prosecutors have, and when prosecutors have convinced you as a judge to lock this guy up pre-trial and then you get busted on your trial verdict like this, the judge is not going to take that well.
But one quick point. There are places where the judge is empowered to consider outside factors. For instance, if the person abuses a position of responsibility or trust, if the person abuses a vulnerable victim, there's any number of factors that aren't just specific to what the things they were charged with that a judge can and quite frankly should consider, and some of that may come in here. Now, pretrial publicity may not be the kind of thing, that was your question.
Yeah.
But no, there's other stuff that the judge will have in the back of his mind when administering the sentence, I think.
Let me pause there, guys. Did y'all hear that? See, this is what we were talking about earlier when I mentioned on how the prosecution will throw so much out there to see what they can get, and it didn't get them anything because we were looking at 15 years to life, and basically with these two charges, at the most, he would get 2 years, and we might see time served. So, like what we bring up here, judges get pissed off that, hey, you're the feds. You brought this case here. You normally have a 95% conviction rate, right? So we had this man in jail for close to a year. We've had this trial for 7 weeks. And this is the outcome here that the jurors think here. You wasted our time. You're wasting taxpayers' time. And in actuality, we probably shouldn't be here right now. So whenever we get to that next hearing, whether October 3rd or if Diddy's lawyers push it up here, like they said here, the judge can be pissed off saying, yo, we got this high-profile case here, and this is the best that y'all can do? Yes, I can see the judge being petty. I can see that there, but like we said here, the judge could be pissed off about these overcharges. Remember, the charges that were dropped last week and the not guilty that we found today. Let's continue, guys.
I always learn so much from both of you. Thank you so much. I want to bring in Lisa Respers-France. She covers entertainment for us, and she joins us from Atlanta. Lisa, Combs' trial has spawned its own trialtainment industry, dominated by podcasts, influencers. What has the reaction been there, the immediate reaction to this verdict?
Well, you know, of course, Dana, there's the legal court and then there's the court of public opinion. And immediately following this, there was a lot of shock. This has been a very divisive case, as is always the case whenever there's a celebrity involved. You have the fan base, many of whom don't want to believe that someone that they enjoyed their art so tremendously could be guilty of anything. So you have some people who are very surprised, and then you have some anger. You have some people who say that they feel as though this is yet another case of a rich and powerful man who was up for justice and then escaped justice. But as we see, the jury did their job. They determined what they determined, and we have to go from there.
And you have reported on past trials that have captured the nation's attention, the O.J. Simpson trial in particular. I know you were writing for the LA Times back during that trial. The cases could not be more different, but when it comes to the public, sort of the zeitgeist, what similarities do you see?
There's absolutely the similarity of race being a big part of that. I think it's fair to say that I don't think Sean Diddy Combs enjoyed the same support among the black community that O.J. Simpson did at the time, but in both cases they involved allegations of domestic violence, but also I think both men became surrogates for what could happen in the criminal justice system when you have a black man in particular who's able to, in a way, level the playing field because they could afford really good attorneys, they could afford to have the best representation. And so that factors into it. You know, not only were they both black celebrities, but when it comes to having black men accused of crimes in this country, a lot of times there's this feeling of, you know, finally you have someone who's able to get the type of defense that is available to a non-person of color. And so that's always a part of the conversation. And I've written about this before when it's come to the R. Kellys of the world, the Bill Cosbys of the world, the Michael Jacksons of the world, the O.J. Simpsons, and now the Sean Diddy Combs. They become representative of what can happen in the justice system and the judicial system for someone who can afford to have the very best representation.
Let me pause that here for a second, guys, what she said here. But Derek said they tried hard to put Jonathan Majors in jail, even though Diddy is a joke, he should be put in jail. Like, here's the situation here, guys. Ain't it crazy how we got people upset because Diddy has money and he's able to pay for proper legal representation to save himself so he could be free? People are actually saying, well, if he didn't have any money, he'd be guilty. Guys, in this country, the United States, we should all be able to be held and have a expedient and also a fair trial and also be able to have fair and proper representation. This is not me speaking up for Diddy. I'm not a Diddy fan. I'm speaking about the law and understanding how the feds and daddy government U.S. uses big dogs like Diddy to set case precedent so they can get the little dogs like us. You may not see it like that. I was trying to say that on Messy's channel. Shout out to my girl Messy. That when you have these cases like this, they go after the big dogs. And if they can get the big dogs, guys, they can get us because we don't have a Ciroc brand deal. We do not own Bad Boy Records. We do not have all the masters to Diddy, to Sean, to 112, Faith Evans, only you. Girl, I want you. Girl, hey. We don't got masters that is paying us millions and millions and millions of dollars a year from a record label that was started 30 years ago, or other business ventures that Diddy made that turned him into a billionaire. He ain't a billionaire now for all the money he spent. But the thing is, like, that's right there. It says fair representation. Just because he got the money and we get accused of a crime, that should not be a knock on people. If anything, that's a good thing, because for so long in this country, how often do we see black people get locked up for crimes we didn't commit, or we didn't have the fair representation, so we had to take the deal. Otherwise, if we went to trial, they would have got us for bigger amounts here, right? What I'm saying here is, you said, stop showing your age, Dave. How much was my age here? Hey, that was a jam. Come on now, Creed. But how often that black people, when we go in front of a judge, sometimes we got black folks who go in front of a judge for a couple of speeding tickets and don't know how to properly defend ourselves, or we got some issues with child support and the judge throw the book at you, or, whatever the case may be. Most people do not have the fair representation. It's not supporting Diddy. This is understanding that when they get the black big dogs, we're next. Remember that, guys. If they're able to get the black big dogs and use case law precedent, then they know they can get you regular Negroes anytime you feel like it. You may say, Dave, stop being a conspiracy theorist. All right, then what? I don't even like Bill Cosby. Why did he get his case? Because I'm white and I say so. The case back, it was in 95, even said he was not supposed to be tried, and they had that lock, sealed, and delivered like that, and they still tried Cosby on that. So my thing here is, how the hell is this going down here? Because when they want you, they want to get you. Hey, what's going on, T. Orlando? He's like, I seen folks with bodies get a bond. I'm glad T. Orlando's here right now. I got my legal mind here, right? All right, let's continue, guys. Let's get back to this video.
And you heard Cassie Ventura's lawyer responding to how the defense characterized her relationship with Combs. He also told CNN that Cassie would continue to fight for survivors. What about that part of this case?
Wait. Before she says that there, Cassie is going to continue to fight for survivors. For any woman that's a sexual assault survivor, that should be a slap in the face to y'all. All right? Cassie is not a victim. The jury said that, guys. And it's not me saying that I'm misogynist and we hate women. It's not me saying that, this is what the testimony and the evidence, audio, text messages. This is a woman, guys, she's the female Diddy. I don't know, take away her money and the fact that she is not a black man. When you look at everything that went down, she was Bonnie and he was Clyde. They both were two wings of the same bird. The only thing was Diddy had the money and had the power, and she went along and she loved it and she got down with it. And of course, I'm not saying that with her, and that hotel video is not part of the case here. We're talking about all the years and the testimony and evidence that we've seen here of saying, yeah, daddy, I want to freak off. Yeah, daddy, the more the better. Matter of fact, after we get done with this video, guys, I want you to hang on here. We're going to react to The Punisher, another one of the dancers who was involved. See, last week we did a reaction to Rico. When we get done with this video, we're going to react to The Punisher, the other dancer. God, isn't that diabolical? That the guy's name is The Punisher. Come on now. So if you take a young lady, hold on. So I think I like this question here. So if you take a young lady from St. Louis to Tulum, I'm sex trafficking Diego. I don't know if you just came in late right now. I literally was talking about this in the first 10 minutes of my live stream. I called this in October of last year. This case, what he got found convicted of right now is for y'all regular dudes who y'all single. Diego, let me ask you, Diego, you got probably a few dollars in your pocket, right, Diego? Got a good job, Diego? You know what I'm saying? You make a little bit of money, and you know you got a couple of females in your back pocket from out of state you like to kick it with. Diego, if you get that chick from St. Louis and she comes in town, you pay for the plane ticket, and then she goes to Tulum, and then you get down and dirty. She goes back home to St. Louis, and then out of nowhere she says, I don't feel right about the trip in Tulum, and calls 911. Diego, that's your ass, Mr. Postman. I said this in October, guys. I said this in October. If they was gonna get Diddy on this, y'all regular niggas better watch out. If you gonna deal with a woman, here's what I'm telling y'all right now. You make her pay for her own plane tickets. You talk on the phone, no recording, and says, hey, look, You pay for your plane ticket. When you get here, no text messaging. No text messaging. Then when you get here, I'll give you the money back in cash. Okay? Because you know what that means? You don't have no paperwork of you paying credit card payments for a plane ticket. She paid her own way willingly. T. Orlando, help me out on that one, all right? All right, that too, leave them alone. That too, leave them alone. But I'm saying some of you guys can't help yourselves. If you gonna have a girl come out, even you think this is your girl you're cool with, you make her put it on her credit card statement. You make her put it on her own debit card, right? And then when she sees you, you just hand her cash. All right, and in a little envelope under the bed, or as I put it in her little purse. Say, hey, I broke you off. You can go in and deposit in the bank. Don't leave no transactions. That's gonna showcase that you paid for transportation. Dave, facts. She's a chameleon. Big slap in the face to actual victims and why they get the justice. Yeah, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Yes, that's right, Terrence. Yeah, it said they will pull bank records. Hey, man, that's what I'm saying. Have some cash. Take a little bit of cash here and there and have the money on the cash to the side. All right. Why are you taking sand to the beach? It's easier, T. Orlando. Some people don't want to take 2.5 days to find something. Okay, you want to have it on deck. You want to get to where you can get to and get the dastardly deed done, T. Orlando. Come on now. She should be paying you. Hey, Peter, you kind of right about that. No, but real talk, guys. I was saying this in October, and this was going to happen to some of y'all cats here, because some of y'all dudes are reckless. Some of y'all guys don't know what the hell y'all doing. I'm telling y'all, you pay for a plane ticket, you bring her in, and then you smash them cheeks. You karaticize that, right? And then during the trip, you got credit card statements showing case you've been paying for her, and you're smashing. You're paying and you're smashing. You're paying and you're smashing. And then you put her on her way, and then she goes home to St. Louis, to Chicago, to ATL, where T. Orlando's at, to California, San Diego. Hey, I don't feel good about the trip. I don't know. I think he kind of rushed things. Or I know we done that before, but I wasn't trying to do it like that now. Hey, y'all, the Man Act is waiting for y'all asses. All right, let me get back to the rest of this video now.
Interestingly enough, earlier I called into the Atlanta radio station V103 here they wanted to ask me a few questions about this case, and I heard from some of the callers prior to me a lot of victim shaming. So while, Cassie Ventura, we were able to see actual evidence of some of her allegations, we were able to see, thanks to the video that we broke here at CNN, her being physically assaulted. There still is a great deal of victim shaming that happens. One woman that called in the V103 basically hailed and said, I have sons, I know what it's like. These women try to bring these powerful men down. And unfortunately, that's the sentiment among some people. Some people, support Cassie and they hail her because we know, and it's very clear that there would have probably been no trial had she not come forward. So, there's still people that this was a difficult case, and there's still people who are divided, even now that we have a verdict.
Yeah, that victim shaming is really unfortunate. Lisa, thank you so much. Appreciate your perspective.
Okay, guys, that's it for that video there. Oops, hold on. Let me get this out the way here.
Joining me here.
There we go. So, Diego says, I want to see this question. He says, have we seen this the other way around? Not with women, dog. Come on. Women fluing out dudes. Fluing out dudes that the guy's going to get a certain type of way. I think Miss Johnson took advantage of me, Diego. Miss Johnson, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable the way Miss Johnson flew me out, and then next she's just like an animal, No, Tier, no, Diego, that don't go down like that. What's going on, Indoor? Good to see you. Right, victim shaming. Where's the victim? That's what the jurors said. Like, I'm a tribe. Help me out here. How? Some women out here, and of course a gang of simps, are gonna not even follow the trial, not look at the text messages, not see the audio of the things that Cassie said, or the things what Daphne, 50 Cent's baby mama, has said. Let me put this out here too, guys. 50 Cent knew about this case 4 or 5 months before Diddy got locked up. You know why I'm saying that? If you guys do a forensics of 50's IG pro account for months on months, he did not just go on Diddy because he hates Diddy. We know 50 hates Diddy. He kept saying, I'm getting full custody of my son, you little sex worker, you. I'm gonna get full custody of my son because my son don't need to be around you, little sex worker, you. If you guys look at his IG and his Twitter, he kept calling her your little sex worker. I'm getting full custody of my son. I know how you get down. You're gonna lose the money that dude's paying you, right? It's because 50 knew that his baby mama was out here doing dastardly things with Diddy. Now, of course, Diddy's his nemesis and everything like that, but I'm saying that he knew about the case, he knew about the feds, and if you follow everything he was posting, he knew something was gonna go down. So then when you add the fact that here, I know 50's got a vendetta, but Daphne is somebody here who out of her own volition was so upset because Diddy had a freak off party in the Caribbean and she wanted to go for her birthday and Diddy said no. And she was on her phone. She was on IG watching Diddy, watching all the girls he took on that trip, and she's looking, oh man, I want to be there. He freaking off Cassie. He freaking off some Asian chick. He freaking off all this white girl. He freaking off dudes. I want to be there. Also, too, guys, Daphne Joy was actually on the stand when she talked about how Diddy would watch her when she volunteered to bang multiple dudes during these freak-offs. She was getting ran through by 2 or 3 dudes at a time while Diddy is sitting there just watching. And there were times when Diddy wasn't even there watching. She was involved in freak-offs while he wasn't even there. She was just getting ran through the randu just to see if she could be in Cassie's place. Hey guys, it's a sick world out here. It's a sick world out here. Says Ty Pro, you're right. It says, what does she have in that damn bag is my question. I don't know. I want to say this here before I get to my next video. This is not my words. This is from Jason Black. And I see that he's going to do a live stream tonight on this here. So I encourage y'all to watch Jason Black tonight, okay? Jason Black says something that was very profound. If Diddy has any current pending payments left to Cassie, he better do a stop payment right now. Hey, y'all. Hey, because the point of why Diddy paid her $20 million is for the fact that video would not come out and all the allegations that come about these freak-offs, how nasty and freaky he is, how he like to have dudes bust nuts and rub the nut on his chest. Yeah, I said that. That's awesome. He didn't want none of that stuff to come out. He paid $20 million basically for it all to come out anyway. So if there's any pending payments, hey, Diddy might need to do a stop payment. He needs to roll back some of them checks. And I'm going to say this for the record right now. Cassie better find a job. Because the fact that she sued Diddy, when she dropped that to get some money out of Diddy, considered as a victim, do victims not go to the police and then try to get $20 million out of you after years you broke up? And then you remember the story that came out, how she was banging Diddy with her now husband when they were dating, and he was trying to call her and couldn't get a hold of her because she got one more rendezvous freak off because she still wanted to be the #1 person? I didn't make that up, people. These are facts. I did not just say something out of my ass, right? How is she a victim, like Tia Orlando said, if she was dating her current husband now, that was her boyfriend, which was Diddy's trainer, and he was trying to get a hold of Cassie, and she went MIA, turned her cell phone off, or you know what girls say, oh, my phone went dead, right? Oh, my phone went dead, right? And she was in the bed with Diddy. Get it in one last time, and then he actually testified this. I was trying to get a hold of her and find out she was back with Diddy, and he okay with that. He okay. How is that a victim if even after years after you broke up, you voluntarily go over to that man's house knowing that you're dealing with someone else who turns out to be your future husband and your baby daddy? Guys, answer me that question here. He ain't coming on until Friday. No, is it Friday? Oh, my bad. Okay, you're right. It is Friday. Thank you, Almond Eyes. It literally just popped up on my thing, and I thought it was going to come on today. Thank you. No, my bad. Says facts. Says she cheated on her husband. Yes, exactly. So I want to speak about the fact that we do have real victims. There are really women out there who have been victims of SA. There are really women out there who have been put through the ringer and things heinous has happened to them. Right? Some of y'all may even know women that's been through some things, right? Some people in my chat may also, men and women, be victims of assault. Men can be victims too. We're not putting, hey, the thing is, men don't want to talk about when we become victims. But I can literally have people in my chat live right now, or part of the replay gang, or shout out to the Ninja Watchers. But we got to ask for the real victims. How is she a victim when she volunteered so much information? How is she a victim when she was coordinating? How is she a victim when she is the one with people on the record, testimony on the stand, saying that they only dealt with Cassie? Hold on, guys, hold on. Some of y'all did not follow the case all the way through. How is it that she is the victim when over a decade of freak-offs, so many of the dancers said they didn't even talk to Diddy? They either talked to his assistant or Cassie. You may say, well, David, she was under lock, key, and barrel, and she was doing what she was told. Well, what about the messages that she was doing these things when Diddy was not even home? She was having her own separate freak-offs when Diddy's out on business. This was a whole big old, this is a lifestyle, guys. Hold on. Hey, hold on. Let's do it like this. These freak-offs were lifestyle choices by the people involved. This was their way of life. This is the way they move. This is the way they get down. This is their form of entertainment. How is that victims? Only thing I see right now, guys, is a whole bunch of freaky people who like to do a whole bunch of freaky sex. And then one person got pissed off because they weren't the focal point of the relationship, because Diddy always introduced new women. Diddy was never going to get married. Says, I still need to know how Diddy made money by having freak-offs. It's not like he was paying to me. Almond Eyes, that's the reason why the racketeering and the RICO charge was thrown out, and they couldn't find without credible evidence that was the case here. They're trying to say this is a criminal organization using Bad Boy and Combs Enterprises and things of that nature. Matter of fact, last year I had T. Orlando when we read the affidavit and breaking it down, right? He did not make any money or profited from these nights, these rendezvous. These were just him being a rich mofo who wanted to enjoy himself with nasty, freaky, deaky activities. And because of that, he paid people $2,000 to $5,000, plane tickets here and there, the house get cleaned up, or food, or activities, or extra baby oil to have a good time. He did not make money off this, Almond Eyes, and you're right. He spent money, because that's what rich mofos do when they're horny as hell. They spend money to have a good time. Hold on, guys. And you guys know rich people. You guys know well-to-do people. Especially my fellas. Don't you know the guys who just spend money just to trick and be tricking? That was Diddy here. He was tricking to be tricking. This ninja is victim shaming. Stop it, T. Orlando. Said she got pissed off because he had that last baby. Oh, Almond Eyes, you beat me to it. Her and Young Miami made a big deal about that Asian chick getting pregnant. All right, but you know what Young Miami did? She fell back and took it like a champ. She was like, look, Diddy is never going to get married, but Diddy's doing so much for me. See, Young Miami didn't go to the police. You know why? Young Miami got a fashion deal. She got a podcast, and her podcast got on TV on Revolt. You know, she was getting trips. She was getting money. See, Young Miami looked at the pros and cons situation and realized, I'm not going to be able to marry Diddy, but Diddy's putting me on. Guys, Young Miami won a BET award for best podcast, and she only dropped 4 podcasts in 1 year. Yo, guys, how the hell people podcast every day for 6 hours straight? Like, I'm not a Joe Budden fan, but this dude has been doing podcasts for almost a decade right now, right? You got Drink Champs that's out there doing their things right now and dropping podcasts and dropping shows every goddamn week. And you gonna tell me Miami is gonna drop 4 podcasts and win Podcast of the Year? Man, she knew her role and Diddy was paying for it. Come on now. Hell, Pat Boy hasn't released anything in damn near 20 years. You're right. So you don't hear much about the case here in Europe, but there's one thing I don't believe is the case that Cassie's innocent. Says he definitely got those special deliveries from them freak-offs, yeah. Said he was never going to be found guilty on the worst stuff. T. Lee. That's what I've been saying here, because they had to prove that, you know. But here's what I want to do, guys. Shout out to y'all the building likes up, right? Earlier today, the Punisher came up and did an interview. Isn't that diabolical? Guys, hold on. Let me bring it down a few notches here. Let me bring it down. Hold on. Likes up in the building. Let's bring it down a few notches here, right? Isn't that just crazy? Isn't that diabolical? That they're hiring dancers. His name is the Punisher. I'm sorry, but when you see him, I'm saying, I look at his face card, I'm like, they call you the Punisher? God dizzle, y'all. Hey, what you say here, T. Lee? This is about someone higher than him showing him how easy they can expose him and destroy him. T. Lee, that's Diogenes. T. Lee never lied. Hey, brother, you know the game, T. Lee. Diddy pulled the rug over our eye. Before I get to the video, I want to address T. Lee here. Let me get to the super. Diddy pulled the rug over our eyes thinking that we thought that he owned Ciroc or was a majority owner in Ciroc. For all those years of commercials, all the branding, all the sponsorships, he was all over the world with Ciroc. Yeah, I'm the Black Frank Sinatra. And then we found out he don't even own not 1% of Ciroc. It's Diogenes. And then when he wanted ownership, what happened, T. Lee? Diogenes said, hell no, Negro. Or actually, hell no, nigger. They use a hard ER, even though they're from Europe over there, they use a country accent. Hell no, nigger. You better take this brand deal and take this here to sell the product here. You're not going to get no ownership. And Diddy successfully got, he sued and got a discrimination suit and got an undisclosed check. And you know what Diogenes said? Oh, what T. Lee said here. We're going to expose you and we're going to destroy you. You know why? We had a good thing together. We would never give you ownership, but we paid your black ass 9 figures. And know what though? The powers that be look at that and say, us paying you over 9 figures after all these years, that's well worth ownership. And know what we're saying? That's nice you cut the check, but if you cut me 9 figures, imagine if I only own 5% of the company for how much money I made. You're giving me 9 figures because I'm making you so much money. And the powers that be said, no, take this money, but one thing we will never give you is ownership. Never that. And when they cut that check, they're like, okay, we gave you some more money. We're going to make sure that you never get ownership in this space ever again. If anything, let's see how jail sounds. Now, as I say all this, guys, like I say, before I get to this next video, I got to repeat this again because I was watching a gang of live streamers yesterday. I was scrolling down YouTube, and I don't like doing this because I like to keep my own thoughts. I like to keep my own presence here, like what I like to do here. My thing is my thing. If I quote somebody, if I say somebody to quote who said it, right? There are so many people who want Diddy guilty because he's zesty. Because you hate him, you don't like him, and all the 30 plus years that we've seen him in the public limelight, you can't stand him. I get that. I can understand if you hate Diddy. I can understand if you hate his music, you hate his persona, his get down. I can understand if you're one of those cats that don't like the zesty community, how he gets down and says, you know what, get this zesty Negro out the paint. I understand that. But you know what though? If they can touch Diddy on some janky ass charges with all the money he has, just imagine if you do some janky stuff one day and you ain't got the resources. I am focused on the fact that if they can touch a big dog and then they let us know they can touch a big dog, they're going to come for us when they're ready to come for us if you get caught slipping. Hey, shout out to my man Derek Gaines in the building, dropping the first highlight of the night. Hey, guys, come on now. I need some help with the supers. Come on, y'all, show your love. But since Derek is the first one here, I love it when you make the chat turn colors. My man DG in the building saying, it's not tricking if you got it. Hey, man, that's what they say, Derek. That's a lot of people say, it ain't tricking if you got it. Hey, brother Derek, salute. Thank you for the highlight. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right back at you with that super. Let me acknowledge you over here, man. Let me make sure I don't forget. Let me put the heart on here. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that love. Everybody show y'all love. Likes up in the building here. Hey, before I get to the video here, I want you to read what happened as we got this live stream started here. Diddy was denied bail, but here's the circumstance here. Let me read this for you guys as we get to the next video here. It says, the judge ordered all sides to return to court on October 3rd for sentencing, but noted that the date could move up if Combs' team seeks to expedite it. The defense is seeking a term of 21 to 27 months with time served, while the government hopes for 51 to 63 months. Combs will get credit for the time he spent detained so far. That's where we're at, guys. So he's denied bail today. It said at the latest October 3rd. It's July 2nd right now, so they're saying, hey, Diddy, you need about 3 more months. We'll see if the judge allows his lawyers to speed the process up. But they're basically saying October 3rd is they want him to serve at least a minimum, a total of 1 year and change before we even get to this situation here. Says, oh, what are you saying here, T. Lee? So I'm talking about the one that gave him Bad Boy back in the day, Mr. Arista, Mr. J, CD. Oh, you're talking about hey, T. Lee, you're talking about he discovered Whitney Houston. You're talking about Clyde Davis. No, T. Lee, I don't think Clyde Davis is behind this. Know why? This is just, I'm not going to get too detailed in this here, T. Lee. I think Clyde Davis is his mentor and showed him the way, the reason why you see Diddy move the way he moves today. Remember, there was a big-ass party when Whitney Houston died in her penthouse, and they didn't even stop the show. Clyde Davis was like, Whitney would have won us the party. Keep the party going. You talk about Clyde Davis, T. Lee. No, I think it's Diogenes who wanted to show him the way. Clyde Davis was the one who showed him how to do it. But hold on, let me get back to the chat here, and then we're going to get to this video here. Bad Boy was useless with distribution. That's how he destroyed it. Bad distribution deal. CD had ruined everything. Free Diddy. Diddy going to go home, gang. This is crazy. Why was he denied? I think that the judge is just making a statement that I think it's a combination of the judge thought they were going to get Diddy on something. They want him to serve at least a year in jail. Hey, Derek, once again, I'm white and I say so. Because we literally had a white lawyer on CNN when I did that reaction video, Derek, and he said that if you took anybody from New York who is not a celebrity mogul, a regular Joe Smo, they're coming home today. And they're not even serving that time that they served here. I'm white and I say so. I'm going to keep saying that. Because we got white lawyers saying a regular guy up and home today, that's the powers that be, baby. That's the powers that be. MJ didn't like him. The charges that he was convicted of mandates no bail. No, Almond. That's not true. I need you to rewind back to the beginning here. There have been cases. I did the CNN video. You might got to rewind it back. We had a white lawyer we reacted to at the beginning of this live stream when I was doing the CNN video. And there are multiple cases of people having the same charges and it's home. They are home. T. Orlando, me and T. Orlando were talking and says most people get bail or not even getting to this far into the case where they're getting denied bail. You know, so we got to look at the fact that there is case precedent, the fact that Diddy should not even be locked up right now. Check it. Here you go. Facts. What's that? Wait, okay, thank you. I checked for you. There is no reason for no bond. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to say. And harmonize. T. Orlando is an official lawyer. He was top in his class. So he's worked for a lot of judges. So this is what we're talking about here, right? T. Orlando in our live chat said it's here, and also a white lawyer on CNN stated that there's previous cases that he should be home today. Like I said, guys, I'm going to keep repeating it. I'm white and I say so. I still Diddy should have brought up the racist card with the racist ass man act like Jack Johnson. Did they have bail before trial? Yes. I did a live stream on this, Almanize, back in November during Thanksgiving week. If you look at my channel during Thanksgiving, I literally laid out everything how he should have got bond back in Thanksgiving. He should have got bond in Thanksgiving, but they didn't give that to him, right? So even when I did that reaction video, we had multiple lawyers, black and white, that said, we can see how they denied him bond, but we see why he should have got bond. It's literally, they were trying to get him in any possible way here. T. Orlando says, there are no charges where bail is prohibited. That's not the Ayala analyst. Okay, see, D. Orlando's putting legal words in here. Says, in New York, I'm just telling y'all, no, Almanize. Hey, Almanize, I'm just telling you right now. T. Orlando's probably in a courtroom right now. Here you go, Almanize. Bond is based on the Ayala analysis, not the charges. There we go here. We're getting schooled here, people. This is why I talked to T. Orlando. We talk about this here. I know a few things, but I'm not going to come out here and say I know what the hell I'm talking about. If I say something, it's because I talk to other people and I present that, and then people who are in the know, then they go ahead and say, and then they actually give the details of that. You know, I'm not going to say things out of my own words here that I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, but I will read and understand some things as an adult, and then we get the details from the people who know it best. Just like I work in IT, and I can tell you some things about DevOps and infrastructure and analysis, things of that nature, and testing, things of that nature. So this is what we're talking about here. T. Orlando and multiple lawyers are saying he should have got bond. If anything, he should have been released today, is what we're talking about here, you know? So this is not me, just some regular Joe Smo saying I know what I'm talking about here. These are actual lawyers, black and white, saying he should have been home by now. He should have been home by now. But let me get to this next video here. But I just want to repeat this for the record. I don't like Diddy. I don't like the fact that he's zesty as hell and having these parties where he rubbing nut all over his chest. I don't get down with his get down. But my thing is, if they can get a powerful man who got caught slipping, and in time we get caught for the minor things and they'll throw our black asses in jail. And you know why I feel so strongly about this, guys? I feel so strongly about this because even though it's just like a small case, this has happened 24 years ago. I was driving, this is not the same thing, but this is like another I'm white and I say so situation, right? I was driving home, I was kicking it with this one girl, one of my exes, and then it was dark at night, and I actually tapped the guy's back in while I was driving. And so when I was getting ready to pull off the road, right? And T. Orlando probably, say, Dave, you should have done something better. But I saw him waving his hand like he had a gun, right? I was like, oh, crap. So I wasn't trying to stay around him, right? I admit I tapped at his back in. But when I saw that, I got off the highway. I called the police, but he called the police first. So he got my license and everything. And I told him, I said, yeah, I owned up to it. I was like, yeah, I tapped his back in, but they looked at my car. I had no damage. And even though they had a he say, she say case, the cops gave my black ass 6 tickets. Threatened suspension of license and jail time, hit and run, all this stuff like that. There was no police on. I was like, what the hell? We had to hire a lawyer. We went through all this stuff. We had my insurance company take an inspection of my car. There was 0 damage. It was literally just a little bit of a tap. And I had to spend money for lawyers to say, get this janky thing thrown out. I had every single ticket thrown out. The thing was, I would not, and when I look back at that case, I would have been a janky mofo if I didn't even have a lawyer. What I'm saying here is that was the same. And matter of fact, when that all happened, they even mailed me a ticket later, so I had 6 tickets. So what I'm saying here is that when they want to get you, they'll throw a gang of tickets or charges on you, and then you have to defend yourself by hiring a lawyer and proving your innocence. And then when I went in front of the judge with my lawyer, they threw all that crap out of jail. It's like, why did they give you this ticket here? Why did they give you this? Why did they charge you with this here? Why was this here? They heard my case and everything. It was like, dude, it's a he say, she say. Get your ass out of here. When it comes to he say, she say, you gotta have representation. You said, I'm just telling y'all what the lawyers in New York are saying. But Almanize, I get what you're saying here. This is the same, Almanize, you're going through the same thing with Go Cree Cree. Go Cree Cree's in the chat here right now. I was on her channel on Sunday. And they were saying the same thing too. It's like, well, you know about the video with the beatdown on Cassie? Well, they're saying that the video, and I was like, no, the video is used for character issues. He's not being charged for DV. And then she kept saying, I can send you a video where that the lawyers are saying about the video here. And see, there's a whole bunch of D+ lawyers what we're talking about here. This is what we're talking. There's a gang of people who are lawyers. Tia Orlando could probably agree with me on this. There's a gang of C-, D+ lawyers who barely graduated through college, but because they have Esquire, and if they're a lawyer, of course they're going to say, I know this here. But you got to understand, just because people are lawyers, we can actually see the people who are the astute Esquires and the people who barely graduated, and people are just trying to clout chase. But just because someone says that there, I like to double and cross and 3 times check Almanize. I don't just go by one person, right? I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I literally went through 6 different lawyers, including Tia Orlando, to say what I'm saying here right now. So, and not against you. I'm just saying that we have a bunch of lawyers who want Diddy down. Or not just Diddy, black people down, so they're not going to say anything. But then when you hear the unbiased lawyers, then you get a consent saying, that's supposed to be the case here. You know what I mean? Hold on, let me get back to the chat and we're going to get to this video here. It says, I've been saying from the beginning, did he know it's too much and it's connected to too many wealthy and powerful people for him to stay silent? He's either going to walk free or end up dead. Hey, man, it be that way, brother. Said, that was Chelsea. Thank you, it was Chelsea. Yeah, thank you, Pooh, man. Yeah. Because she was trying to say, I saw this lawyer, I'll send you the video, Dave. And I'm trying to say, I don't care what that lawyer said. It's because even though I'm not a lawyer, I talk to enough lawyers to understand the situation. And I went through more than one lawyer to find this out here. What we're saying here is that there's a lot of janky people who claim to be authority figures. Just because they're a lawyer on TV means they know everything. We need to cross and double and triple check the people who they are, because I've learned the hard way in my line of work in IT. There's a whole bunch of C- and D+ operators. There's a whole bunch of C- and D+ engineers. There's a whole bunch of C- and D+ analysts. That's why you got to double and triple check everything. Let me go down here. It says, I've been saying it from the beginning. Oh, yeah, I already saw that there. Yeah. What's going on, Pinball? Good to see you, brother. Yeah. So what are you saying here, Derek? I said, I'm not a fan of Diddy, not one bit. All he did was pay to play. It was for me playing. I get probation. Yeah. Like I said, my emotions or my energy is not about defending Diddy. It's about the next black man who catches a case. Right, guys? Understand the understood. It's not about Diddy. It's about the next one of us who catches a case. Hey, I do not like Bill Cosby like that. He's an icon and a pioneer. He didn't deserve that last case or whatever thing that went down. They railroaded his ass. I don't gotta like you to see that the law goes after us and say, you know what? We're gonna get you. Just because I don't like you, I can know that at any given time, they can come at me with the same damn charges. Man, like I'm doing that, I got the money like that. The point is, do something janky, because we're all human. We're all imperfect. If they want to get us in a charge, we do something janky, it's cancel Christmas. It says, I see people get bonded with murder charges, and that's the worst crime. Thank you, Tia Orlando. I've seen that. There we go. There we go here. Hey, Almanize. This is the best one. I know you've seen this. We have seen people delete people and get bond, but then they got to have house arrest. We're talking about dudes paying for dudes, pro sex workers, and saying no bond. See, you see, that's what we're saying. The I'm white and I say so. Okay, guys, I want to pull the video of the Punisher. They interviewed him. I want to bring him on the screen. Let me do this here.
Author of In Search of Freezer Meat, we can talk more about that. Hayes had testified during the course of this trial about his involvement in 8 to 12 sexual encounters that he had with Cassie Ventura Fine and Sean Combs. Testified that Combs watched and gave directions during these events. You played a pivotal role in this case, Mr. Hayes. It's great to see you. Thanks for taking the time. Your reaction to the verdict?
I honestly thought the verdict was the correct decision. You know, it maybe not based on following the specifics of the law, because I know the prosecutor said you only had to find one instance where you believe there's coercion. But if you're talking about a jury and the understanding that this was relationships. These were his partners. These were, they were exchanged text messages of love and care and over long periods of time. And then also a bunch of consenting also messages to the sexual activity and the type of lifestyle they lived. I thought it was going to be hard for a typical person that wasn't going to really streamline the law, extremely hypervigilant, to not see this as a relationship domestic issue opposed to sex trafficking. So this is actually what I expected.
To be clear, in any of your encounters, did you see any force, fraud, coercion being used to induce Cassie to engage in these sex acts?
Yeah, it's similar to my testimony. I did not. And so what I will even...
And let me pause here, Peter. I'm the same way too, right? This dude's the Punisher. I was expecting something different. But hey, Diddy and Cassie hired this man 8 to 12 times on the record, guys. This man who's speaking here has been there and intimately involved with both Cassie and Diddy. And he's talking about his interactions, the text messages, phone calls, etc. here. Whew.
Even add is, I testified in the facts where I only interacted and spoke to Cassie during any of these occasions. I never had any communication with
So
Mr.
true to
Combs.
Orlando.
So I would be greeted in a personable one-on-one situation prior to the activities, and then again at the conclusion. And I always found good vibes, good energies. Hey, thanks for coming. It was great. We'll see you again. Here you go. And I did not even witness anything that appeared to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs or anything. So I did find it difficult to see my interaction being anything close to criminal.
I want to tell you what's happening.
Hold on, you hear that, guys? Every interaction, and he was on the stand, just to let you guys know. He was on the stand, he testified. Nothing but good vibes, and it was nice seeing you again. Can't wait for you to come back again. How is Cassie a victim if she is telling him, I can't wait to see you again, Mr. Punisher? Ooh, ooh, come on now. We got to be real here. Out of his own mouth, he's saying, hey, it's nothing been good vibes. I didn't see no alcohol or drug use that would change up the game plan like that or anything. I can't wait to see you again. And that was because they hired him 8 to 12 times. They brought him back. And he's saying, hey, they were happy to see me. Him and Diddy and Cassie. Okay? Cassie got that Punisher meat. Diddy probably got that Punisher meat too. They both were loving it. And he's saying, hey, we had a good time.
Outside the courthouse, CNN is reporting that people are quite excited. There are people who are gathered. They are spraying baby oil into the crowd. There are remnants of oil that could be seen on the courthouse pavement. We were reporting earlier on today that there was a verbal dispute between...
Wait. I'm going to let it play, guys. Hold on. I'll tell T. Orlando this here. I can understand if you are a New Yorker and you're a Diddy fan and you're happy he just not going to serve life in jail. But how the hell you going to be outside the courthouse and then going to be spraying baby oil in appreciation and happy that he's getting off? Baby oil, baby oil, baby oil, baby oil. Spread it all. Baby oil. Baby oil, he's free. That's right, T. Orlando. Astro Glide, baby oil, free Diddy. Yeah. Hey, come on now. Y'all wrong for that. Whoever went to New York and sprayed baby oil all over the courthouse and sprayed it in the air and put it on the steps so people could slip and slide and hurt themselves because you happy, you got some serious problems, okay? Why would you bring baby oil to the courthouse? Come on now, people. Y'all wrong for that. Certified says, what about the homosexual act Diddy had with those rappers? And one thing is clear, Diddy is nasty. I mean, we're not saying he's not gay, Certified. We owned up to that. Hey, the Punisher talks about that. We know gay. Hey, I don't like that stuff. I don't get down with Diddy getting down. But being freaky and nasty and having gay freaky sex don't mean you're guilty of a RICO. You know what I'm saying? Being freaky and having male pros and female pros. It's been more male pros than we heard about the female pros and everything. It doesn't make you guilty, though. He said, Cassie testifying while pregnant for sympathy. Yeah, Thomas, they timed that out. They wanted to show the big bump. You know, they want to show the pregnancy and everything. That was all done to sway the jury. Okay, here's a pregnant woman who's been, quote unquote, a victim of abuse, and then she got to deal with this extra stress before giving birth to the baby. That's the prosecution tactic right there, guys. Come on now. Said AI is an AI taking record of all this. Hey, what's up? What's up, Daniel? This is a Johnson on Johnson. Hey, come on, certified. I'm done with you, Johnson on Johnson. Come on, man. Stop, American. Stop.
Supporters of Sean Combs, or at least supporters of his case, and those who feel differently. When you're seeing a reaction like that outside of the courthouse, you playing a role in this case, what's your position on it? What is your view on it?
So what I think is there's a benefit of the misinformation. You know, me as a civilian, even before I was involved, before I became a witness, the social understanding of this case, they made it so much bigger than what it was. You had rumors of child trafficking. You had all of this bribery and celebrities involved and all of this crazy stuff that escalated to this belief that you was going to get this magnitude of just terrible acts, and not downplaying the domestic violence part of it. But I think when the actual facts of the case became evident, I think people's expectation and their belief that it was going to be so much more, it actually minimized the victims' experiences. So now where there are still people that are victimized, regardless of the verdict, there's still bad experiences. People almost see it as a celebratory, simple scenario because everybody thought it was going to be so much worse than what it was, including myself.
Do you think,
listening to the banter?
Do you think that your testimony helped secure the conviction for transportation to engage in prostitution? Because let's be clear, the two charges that he was convicted of, one was with respect to Cassie, and the other was with respect to Jane. Do you think your testimony helped secure the conviction against Sean Combs?
No, not at all. Not my testimony, because I was clear that my dealings with them was, I'm from New York City at the time, and I only dealt with them in a New York City area. And me being hired in the initial communications was as a male dancer. We always show up on our own. But I did hear in the testimony, there was evidence of plane tickets and stuff being purchased on his American Express card for some of the other escorts. So I'm assuming that secured the conviction for those charges.
So imagine this, guys. Hypothetically, T. Orlando, help me out here. And everybody may understand what I'm trying to go at here. With Mr. Punisher himself here, he's a local cat. He a New Yorker. So he probably drove or took an Uber or whatever, took the train, took the subway to Diddy's spot, He was local. If Diddy never hired anybody outside the state of New York, let's say wherever the freak offs happen, let's say if you're in New York, and if he had only locals come through, or if he was in the house in Florida, let's say they have to have the house in Florida, and he only had locals from Florida, and if he was in the house in California, if these freak-offs only involved locals, people in that state, Diddy would be home. It's the fact of paying for plane tickets and that transportation of paying for said pro sex here, right? If he's not paying for them to get on the plane, or if they paid their own way, because he said, hey, I paid my own way to get there. So if Diddy kept it local, we wouldn't even be here today, guys. We wouldn't even be here.
Mm-hmm. So as I mentioned to you before we were coming on, we have amazing viewers who submit incredible questions. And I have a bunch of them. A lot of people have questions for you, Mr. Hayes. So let's get right into it. All right, first question. We got a question from Jackie Reed. Did you have any direct dealings with Christina Coram or any other person other than Diddy that helped set up his freak-offs?
Actually, no. And actually, I didn't have any direct dealings with Diddy. All of my communications were specifically with Miss Ventura and Miss Ventura only. There was no conversation, no communication, no anything with Mr. Combs. And I said this before. The first time I actually even had eye contact him, for the first time, eye contact was leaving the stand after my testimony. I had zero interactions with Mr. Combs.
Hold on, guys. Big box. Hold on, guys. Hold on here, guys. This was in the case. Some of y'all don't even know. And this why we're saying, how in the hell is Cassie a victim? We're talking over 8 to 12 visits of freak-off parties, and Mr. Punisher saying he never dealt with Diddy. All communications, everything logistics involved was with Cassie. Come on, guys. Hold on. We're going to get back to the video here. All communications, all interactions, except for when he came over to get down with the get down, was all done by Cassie. That's why when we heard the not guilty on those 3 major charges, because the jury did not believe her as a victim. How are you a victim when one of the main witnesses saying, I only talked to Cassie, and this is how it went down to what we're doing here right now, guys. This is what we're missing. People just want to see the male element of Diddy being a billionaire or used to be a billionaire and a powerful person, and then you see Cassie as the younger girl because she is a lot younger than Diddy, and they're trying to use this age gap relationship to showcase that he uses power, influence, and everything under the sun here to control Cassie. I don't call that control when basically she's doing this on her own. She liked Mr. Punisher. She liked Mr. Punisher's get down. She liked what they did together, with or without Diddy. Come on, guys. Got to call a spade and a buck here. She loved it. Is that hard to say, guys? Wait a minute, hold on. For the feminists out there, is it hard to comprehend that women are freaky? Is it hard to comprehend that women is also nasty? Fellas who are in relationships here, I guarantee you, if you got a woman, I guarantee you, if you've been with her long enough, you know that your woman is so much freaky. You didn't know that in the outset. As a matter of fact, most of you guys here, your woman is more freakier than you. Understand, you can't be the victim if all the information is coming out saying she was the one who wanted to do this and did it without him. Let's go.
And by the way, I'm just going to let you know, I'm not like tweaking these questions. These are the ones that are coming in, so I'm just going to read them to you. This is from an an account, Smarty Pants. Thank you so much for the super chat question. Do you think Diddy was cheap with you?
Oh, damn.
Well, listen, if I'm being honest, when I hear some of the other guys getting $5,000, $6,000, obviously that would be the first thing you think. But then I don't know the scenario. I was never there more than, 4 hours at a time on the average. And one thing that I will say is I came multiple days in a row. So I don't know what the criteria was to determine what my fee would be, but I was fine with it. I don't have any reservations as if I was not fairly compensated,
We've got a question. Where is this? Okay. Show and Tell Knitting asks, how will the results of this trial affect your interactions with clients like Diddy? Will you do anything differently in the future?
As far as I'm concerned, I would not do anything differently. That was a nuanced situation for me. Obviously, I'm a male dancer. My trade on a regular basis is not sex work to that degree. That was a proposition I indulged in. So I don't really see much changing. This was a very nuanced situation. I don't think anybody predicted these scenarios escalating to what it actually became. So I don't have any full regrets of my interactions, or if I'm being honest, even my decision. It was something I was a part of. It were some of our decisions, and I'm comfortable with the way everything transpired, even the negatives.
Chris Bono asks, how has this experience changed you, if at all?
Well, it put me in a scenario where I have to do damage control, right? We live in a society where you meet a person, everybody Googles you, right? So I know for the rest of my life, I'm associated with this crime and or trial, I should say, with this trial and these accusations, and I'm instrumental in it too. So all I'm doing now is I have to have a much conscious effort in how I'm perceived in my interactions with people going forward, because I could start out in a lot of situations in a negative opposed to what normal people do.
And I appreciate you coming on and speaking to media outlets about this, because obviously the trial wasn't testified. There was reporting, it wasn't televised, excuse me, but it wasn't, there was reporting about what the testimony was like. People might have misconceptions about what you said, why you testified. So to be able to clear the air is really important, which is why we get a question from Brooklyn Truth. What was your motivation for testifying? So to be clear, I mean, did you want to testify? Did you reach out to the government? How did that work exactly?
So I did not want to testify. The government contacted me even way before the charges, just investigators. And I actually believed that my testimony was going to be insignificant. You know, I explained to them I didn't see any violence. You know, I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary. And then I was aware, I was a resident of New York. We met up in New York, so it didn't really, in my opinion, or my understanding, constitute sex trafficking. So the thing that put me in this situation, and this never happened, I didn't get any issues from the prosecution or the federal government, but if you talk to people who's supposed to be in the know, they scare you about the Southern District. They give you this thing where, look, you want to cooperate, just do whatever you got to do. You don't want to get on their bad side. So I went into the scenario like, look, I'm just going to cooperate to the best of my ability, because I don't want to create a scenario where I'm looked at as an issue and then it escalates to something. It probably wouldn't have, but I just kept getting negative feedback that the Southern District is people you don't want to mess around with. And if they want to talk to you, if they want facts, if they want information, you have to give it to them. And that escalated to me on the stand, where I never second guessed even, cooperating, because I did have worry that resistance could have been an issue for me.
Hold on, let me pause that for a second, guys. Hear this out here now. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the live stream, how 50 Cent knew about this case before it went down because of his baby mama months and months before Diddy, before the raid. Because you look at his timeline, how he was just going down his baby mama. The same thing with Mr. Punisher here. He was interviewed months before the trial. And then when you hear what he's saying, he's like, it sounds insignificant here, right? You know, I mean, I was there several days. You know, they paid me, but it's not trafficking. I live in New York. You know, I only talked to Cassie. You know, I only dealt with her. It was me and her interaction. So I thought it was insignificant, right? I never talked to Diddy. I only saw Diddy when I got there. So think about this here, guys. The prosecution was just trying anything and everything, even though they didn't have anything. Think about it now. They interviewed him months before the raid and still put him on the stand. And his testimony is not helping the prosecution's case. It's helping Diddy. I only talked to Cassie. How's Cassie a victim if I'm only talking to her? I was there for several days in a row. She was happy to see me. I didn't see drug use. I didn't see alcohol use. Everything that you would think that the prosecutors were saying, he's saying the opposite. They interviewed him and then they still put him on the stand. That should tell you the incompetence of the lawyers just trying anything. Thought maybe, well, we get him on the stand here. Maybe he might slip up here. I mean, if he's saying the same thing months before the raid and then he's saying this thing on the stand here, what does that tell you? It tells you that the prosecution didn't have anything and they were grasping for straws and then hopefully changing the line of questioning when he got in the stand, that they can get him in a gotcha moment so it'll help their case. That should tell you something, that a witness on their side they didn't bring up here is like, well, we're just going to try this anyway. I don't know. I'm not a legal beaver. I'm not the professional. All I know is that if someone gave me this testimony months before, I'm like, this is going to hurt our case. This ain't going to help our case. Hey, before I even keep going here, let me bring up to the big box. Shout out to my man, Pooh Man in the building. dropping the $5 holla, pushing the green plates in the chat. What you got for the best mind in the game, Pooh Man? What you got me, brother? Russell Simmons tried to warn Diddy and got out before the feds came down on him. Pause. Hashtag no Diddy. Hey, man. My man Pooh Man in the building. Hey, brother Pooh Man. Salute. Thank you for the holla. I appreciate you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right back at you with the super, the $5 holla, man. Let me go ahead and put heart that here. I was telling my boy JD, me and him were texting earlier today, and I told him I was going to do this live stream, right? And he was asking me, you know, just like I said, I was bringing about Russell Simmons. After everything's going on here, the reason why I'm talking about this here is like, hey, do you think Diddy will make a comeback? You think Diddy's going to know after he gets out of jail, you know, because he's whatever time he's going to serve, it ain't going to be the 15 years to life. I mean, if they're really going to try to be janky, he's going to be in there for a few more months at max, but no one precedent, things of that nature. He'll be out soon, right? He ain't going to be in jail for 2, 3, 4 years. He'll be out soon, right? He says, what do you think when he gets out of jail? I say he's going to be just like Russell Simmons. The problem is Russell did not want to go through the Kangaroo Court of America courts, and that's why his ass is in Bali right now. But when it comes to Diddy, he's just like Russell Simmons, but in America when he gets out. He's a pariah, okay? Everybody knows about his sexual escapades. It's one thing when we guess and we have an idea, we got jokes, you know, when we watched on, you know, Dave Chappelle, you know, and had the extra lip gloss on, you know, bad boy. But now of all the testimony and things of that nature, who's going to work with Diddy in knowing that their base is going to persecute them from even considering talking or working with him? He can't go back to the music industry. What radio DJ is going to put out new Diddy music without sponsors saying, nah, we ain't dealing with this dude because even though he may be innocent, we still think he's guilty? And who is going to be a major artist to sign with him, anything like that? No major artist going to go to Bad Boy. And if you're a new artist, wouldn't you rather be independent than sign with Diddy knowing the stuff that goes on in the background? So no music for him, no alcohol for him because that Diogenes case. So you know that's out the door here. You're not going to see him in any movies no time soon. Think about any Hollywood script. You know, he already pissed off the Democrats about 4 years ago. He's literally a pariah with every major entity that he was cool with up until the last couple of years here. So he's going to be just like Russell Simmons, Pooh Man. Just the thing is, once he gets out, he'll be in the States, but there is no coming back from. But you're right. Russell Simmons said, hey, better get out of town, Diddy. You know, he got that list. Hey, Diddy, better get out of town. They're going to come and get you. That's why I'm in Bali. Hey, that's them. Diddy's going overseas after he gets out. They still play Diddy at gym even though it's full of women. I chuckle every time. Hey, you know what though, T. Orlando? That might be like an auto. If those gyms have like a CD or something where they have a volume of songs, so they got to get a whole new disc of songs to remove certain songs out of the out of their playlist. Yeah, Booty Bandit is free, says Grits and Bacon. Yeah, let's get back to the video.
Got maybe the most important question of the day from Xenu Golf Club. Did you like your courtroom sketches?
So I'm still getting problems from my buddies about how terrible those sketches are. So I did not like the courtroom sketches, man.
Well, Combs didn't like him either. He thought he looked like a koala. So.
Yeah. They have me. They're calling me like I don't know if you're familiar with the Fantastic Four, but I'm
oh damn
in Grim. You know. So yeah, a lot of jokes, a lot of unnecessary jokes I'm subjected to because of those photos.
Got a question coming in from, wait, I just lost it. Where was it? Wait. I think, no. Oh, yeah. Chris Buono asks, if you weren't an escort worker, in what line of business could you see yourself?
Ironically, I have a passion for car sales. I can see myself
what the hell?
Being in
what the hell? What the hell, Yana?
Decent dealership, maybe a Mercedes, BMW dealership. I like the interaction with people. That would have been somewhere I would have went into.
Selling cars.
As a secondary option.
Let me ask you a question. When you were testifying, this is my question. When you were testifying, what was it like to be in the room with Sean Combs, to see him? Did you make eye contact with him? Was he looking at you? Did it feel awkward? Was it strange?
Here we go. I like this.
Listen, man, it was the actual extreme of all of those feelings. I think the federal court is set up to intimidate you. The magnitude of the room, it's like the The doors are 15 feet high. The ceiling's 30 feet high. The furniture's huge. You're sitting up high. The judge is high. It's freezing in the room. I walked in and I had literally an anxiety attack. And I consider myself a very calm, cool, collected guy, not easily rattled at all. And by the time I got on the witness stand, I was trembling. And so then to put on top of the understanding that I'm walking in there as the prosecution's witness, so I'm going to assume there's not a favorable thought process with Mr. Combs, his family, anybody involved. So it was very nerve-wracking, man. And I only benefited because I got called to the stand 10 minutes before lunch. And literally just swearing in and answering my name and very preliminary questions, I was losing my voice. I was having trouble talking. And so I'm happy that it broke for lunch. And it took me 20 or the 30-minute lunch to recompose myself. Or I might have had a very different testimony if I didn't have that break time to just kind of get myself together, because it was overwhelming.
Let me, Sheree, stand by. We have more questions coming in, but I want to bring on the other panelists as well. Ben, we haven't had a...
That was it for that part there. I didn't go ahead and go through the whole panel. They had other lawyers talking about it whatsoever. If you guys late coming into the live stream, likes up in the building. If you don't know by now, Diddy is innocent of the major charges. He's only guilty of the 2 lesser charges, basically the Mann Act. Basically, they got him on transportation of pros across state lines in pain. So technically, they're getting him on paid prostitution because he was tricking at the end of the day, basically. And we all know, we've seen enough lawyers to showcase he is not going to, even the 2 charges, listen, they carry 10 years each, or a total of 20 years. There has never been a case where they'll go to the full extent of prosecution for somebody who does not have a federal criminal history like Diddy here. It'd be one thing if he had a history. We have other things behind his back pocket. All we got for Diddy in the past is allegations. The major case that happened, the gun case with Shine, that was Shine who caught the case, not Diddy. He never had a major case. This is his first offense when we think about everything here. So let me go here and say, what are you saying here? Is this KG now? What do you mean by T. Orlando? Is this KG now? What are you talking about? I'm curious. I don't know what you mean by that, T. Orlando. But I just want to state this here, man. I never liked this case from the get-go. But I'm an unbiased person. I don't care if I don't like you personally, or I don't like the way you work, or if you've done things in the past. Because let me keep it a buck here, guys. I did not rock with Diddy, but after I reacted to that video of him beating down Cassie in the hotel, there is no excuse for any man to put hands on Cassie or any woman the way he did to Cassie in that video. The way he kicked her and stomped her and all that stuff, right? All that goes down. I don't rock with any dude doing that. You ain't supposed to put no hands on nobody like that, man. Come on, dog. You know, that's some bitch ass stuff right there, right? But that was not on trial. DV was not on trial. If this was years earlier and they're prosecuting him on SA and domestic violence, you would not hear a peep out of me, but just saying, hey, I hope the man burns. Whatever the maximum is and whatever the testimony is, get him. You got evidence, boom. But that was not on trial. They used the video for character assassination to showcase that these actions showcase a man that is involved in a RICO criminal organization. They were trying to connect dots that did not connect dots. And I am fair to understand that several things can be true at the same time. Was Diddy a functioning alcoholic and a functional drug head? Yes, he admits to that. He got a problem. But you want to know something that's true, though, that came out of everything? Cassie was also a drug addict as well. Hold on, guys. All this stuff that may not during the freak-offs, but that did come out here. Diddy was a functional, addict. Cassie wasn't. Diddy had to put her ass in rehab. Had to tell her to slow down. That's how bad Cassie was, right? I'm unbiased here because when I see multiple people doing the same thing, then they're all involved in it. Whether it's illegal or legal, right? And what we have here with Diddy is a situation where that a man who's been in the game since what he got started in Uptown Records like in 1988. And then from that on, he's been on the stratosphere of getting money and taking names and whooping ass, right? Whether it's right or wrong how he did it, he made himself a millionaire, then a multi-millionaire, and then on paper he became a billionaire, right? So when you got that much money, and at the end of the day, too, the man works. You can say what you want. You don't get to status without working. And so when you get to the status, people like this like to live out the desires when the money's bountiful, when the money is fruitful, when the money is flowing in like water. And then when you've been successful, people been telling you you're great, people telling you the best thing since sliced bread, and you've made millionaires, you made hits. Then what's going to happen, guys, is you are going to want to rest on your laurels. You are going to want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to enjoy the spoils of your riches because you worked your damn ass off and you got there. And you know what happened? He found multiple women, including Cassie, that says, hey, I like what you're doing here. Can I be down like Brandy? I want to be down. And what you going through, I wanna be down with you. So Diddy, like that one song, I need a girl that's right. I need a girl that's in my life. He found all that, right? And so you had two peas in a pod who basically said, hey, look, I like dudes and girls. And Cassie said, I like dudes and girls. And they said, hey, why don't we get down and freak off and get down with dudes and girls together? And Cassie said, I like that. And Diddy said, I like that. And for decades, they got down with dudes and girls and dudes, doing all the nasty things. Just because you do that doesn't make it illegal. What made it illegal was when Cassie in her mind found out that she was not the number one freak off member. Their relationship was not based on who they're having sex with. Their relationship was based on who was the number one partner to have these various sex partners with. It didn't matter that she could have got down with 4 or 5 guys that night. What mattered was once everything was said and done, Diddy was nutting in her at the end. That's what, it didn't matter how many girls, man, she went down on. It didn't matter how many trainers and prostitutes was banging that and how many sores she got from giving head. What mattered was after all the other freak off party members exited stage left, it's just her and Diddy, and then they're alone in the house at the end saying, damn, that was a good party. Yeah, baby, that was a good party too. We gotta, once we recover, we gotta do it again. More baby oil. Yes, more baby oil. Two freaky people wanting to do a whole bunch of freaky ass things, but the problem was one person caught feelings because they were no longer the number one draft pick. Diddy treated her like an unrestricted free agent saying, hey, you're good enough to sign for another team, you know, and she did not want that. And this is what happens, fellas, when you pick the wrong woman, doing these dastardly things, and she's not going to be number one. And since she's not going to be number one, she's going to make sure you're number one with the law. Understand that here. What were y'all saying here? Oh, he said, that was doing the nasty. Hey, come on, Thomas. Why you got to quote Hollywood Shuffle? He said, they was doing the nasty. And I like doing the nasty. Hey, come on. Have y'all seen, y'all got to see Hollywood Shuffle. What was that? What Detective Robert Townsend played? That was the one where Keenan Ivory Wayans played Jerry Curl. That's right. Hey, man, just because her breath stink, you know, doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Thanks, Thomas. You killing me over here. You killing me. So all the feminists and Sims will defend Cass no matter what she did. That's the problem. That's the problem we got here. We got too many feminists and too many low-down, dumb simps that don't look at women as adults. Don't look at women as adults who have a mind and is able to do things with a clear thought in mind here, right? We're treating women with kid gloves and acting like they're 10-year-olds who did not have a say in things here. It's ironic that these are the same women that you'll congratulate for having a hit record and Diddy putting her in runway shows and she's modeling and showcasing all her beauty and everything like that. But then when it comes down to the thing called sex, then we say she didn't know what she was doing. We say Diddy coerced her, or we're saying that she didn't have a frame of mind. People keep changing Cassie's age. They're like, Cassie was a teenager when Diddy got with her. Like, what the hell? She was in her 20s. I've literally heard women try to tell me Cassie was 18 when she got with Diddy. I said, hold on. Cassie wasn't even 18 when she was with Ryan Leslie. Says, no, they look at them as adults. They just refuse to hold women accountable for the actions no matter what. Nah, Tierland, I know some women that look at them as kids. You may be right about that one. I've come across, see, that's the one thing, Tierlando. I'm in the social media space. Tierland tried to get on my case one day. He was like, yo, why you keep talking to these cats on Twitter or X messaging? You remember that? I was like, I was talking to tetherers. She's like, why are you doing? This is what I do. I want to know what people are talking. And you're right, they do look at those, but there's a lot of women that say she didn't know no better. There's a lot of women that say that she was a kid. They even lied saying she was 18 years old when she was with Ryan Leslie first in her 20s. You know what I'm saying? So no matter what happens, whenever they see a woman just say cry wolf, instead of saying, hey, hold on, let's take a step back. Let's assess the situation and go forward. No, they automatically go to she's a victim and he's the monster. And then when we have all this court testimony that come out on all the text messages, it don't matter. She was coerced. So no matter what, a woman can do freaky things without the man, but the man is guilty. Make it make sense, guys. Make it make sense. I was literally on X the other day, and a woman said it's misogyny and blaming men for women getting BBLs. Hold on, guys. Before I get out of here, Tierlando, I was on X this week, and a woman was trying to go back and forth saying it's misogyny and that men are to blame for women getting BBLs. Excuse the fact that these women are single. So there's no man in their ear telling them to get a BBL. Excuse the fact that these women that we're talking about were north of 30 years old. And they're going to say it's misogyny and that men are to blame. So this is what we're saying. This is what we're doing with society, guys. Even when women are grown as hell, not as young as Cassie, in their 30s, and they still blame men for their decisions. And you know what they say? Well, society makes them do this here. Ain't no man told you to go ahead and spend a whole bunch of $1,000s to fly overseas to an illegal doctor and put your life on the line for a big ass booty that don't even look right, and then come back to state to a treatment center where that you are not getting the best treatment here. But blame men. Okay? He says, I thought women matured fast, but if they're the first to play, I was young card. Exactly. Pooh Man says, that's what K. Michelle was saying, blaming black men. Thank you. K. Michelle been doing that crap here. But this is what I experienced this week. Literally said misogyny. People, do we know what the definition of misogyny is? The hatred and contempt and disrespect and disdain for women. How does a man, if this is the case here, a man hates a woman to make her get a BBL? But these women with BBLs are still single with no man in sight here. Make it make sense here. We have a society of people that does not want to accept accountability and allow people to, when they actually up, to actually own their mistakes. That's the day that we live in today. Even out of their own mouths, they were say, I sucked so much cock, my mouth was sore. I had sores because the multiple cocks that was running through it. And you know what, daddy, I loved it. Wait till my sores go down. We can have another freak off and I can suck some more cock. That was graphic, wasn't it? That's what Cassie said. I didn't make that up. That was her get down. And her now husband married that. So here's what I'm going to say here before I close off here. I said it earlier, and I borrowed this from Jason Black. If there is any outstanding payments to Cassie, Diddy needs to go ahead and do a stop payment. The worst of the worst that's happened. What was the point of him paying her if this was the outcome? He could have kept that money for himself and then went through this trial here. But if there's any pending payments, he better stop payments. And if there's anything out there, he might as well try to get some money back if he's able to get that. Because what's the point of paying somebody if you went through all this humiliation and all these things here to say, hey, you're only in trouble because the dudes and girls you flew in, not the way you treated her or she treated you. You know what I'm saying? He says, someone clipped that part where Tina talks about sucking so much cock he had sores. I didn't say that. I said Cassie. Come on, man. I said Cassie. So we're going to get out of here, guys. I'm going to close down shop. But as I do here, you know, we'll see what happens if the lawyers on Diddy's side is able to move this up earlier than October 3rd. But T. Orlando, help me out here. I see this as by the time they get to that hearing, he would have 1 year served. That means that if whatever that Diddy's lawyers asked for 21 to 26 months, that's close to half time served. The prosecution wants almost 60 months. They want 5 years, 51 to 60 months. They want 4 to 5 years, right? Even if they make this to October 3rd and over a year served, that is so much time that what is the point of wasting taxpayer dimes to keep this black man in jail here? TD&D, they got the white man. Hey, stop it, man. I ain't got nothing about it. All right, what do you say there? Same thing happened. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, Bill Cosby. I said, I don't like Bill Cosby. He should have never went through that court case. And then the old court case that was sealed came out saying he should have never been tried for it. It's the always I'm white and I say so, guys. Says, you usually have to serve 80-90% of Fed time. Okay, Fed time. Thank you, T. Orlando. Appreciate that. This is why that's why I said by the time they get to that point, it'd been halftime served. This is why I have a legal mind here. If we were talking about some medical stuff here, I would have a doctor and I'll ask these questions about things that go on that doctors know. If we were talking about cars, I would have a mechanic or someone who knows more about cars and things of that nature. Whatever it is, we want to have the people who can actually speak on it, not just somebody who just says what they say out of their ass. If I say something, I got the backing of somebody who's giving us the real deal here, people. So this saga's going to be over pretty soon. Diddy's going to be home soon, guys. Now, the question that needs to be asked here is, once Diddy comes home, what's next? What's next for Cassie? Well, I'll say this. Cassie, you're going to need to find a job. Is there anybody here who believes that in 5 years, Cassie ain't going to be broke? She got a check from Diddy, and she sued the hotel, so she got about $30 million, right? She has a high appetite. And her husband is a goddamn trainer, which means he ain't making no goddamn money. Even if you're a trainer of the stars, who gonna respect you? You the Diddy trainer. Ain't no one gonna be hiring you. You Cassie's husband. So he ain't got no money, and they're gonna be living off this check here. And that's why she sued and didn't go to the police like she did initially, waited as long as she could here. So Cassie's gonna need to find a job. I am going to say that even though that, they have kids, they got 2 kids together, I'm giving them 5 years before they break up. I guarantee the money's going to be gone and they're going to be divorced and Diddy's going to be just like Russell Simmons and hiding somewhere. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. I need y'all to comment, like, subscribe, and click on that bell notification below. We're going to get out of here. Pooh Man says, see, Russell Simmons was a prophet. He got out before all this came out. You're right about that, man. Wait, hold on 1 second, guys. I got to take this phone call before I get out of here. Let me go on mute. 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. That was an important phone call from work. I had to take that. Yeah, you're right, Pooh, man. Russell Simmons called it. That's why Russell Simmons in body right now, because they made a hit piece on. He's saying, I don't know if Russell Simmons is guilty or innocent. All I say is that whenever you have high-profile men, especially black men in these cases like this, and then they went and made an HBO documentary about all these things that happened, they basically made him guilty before innocent, you know. And then the crazy thing with Russell Simmons, before I get out of here, guys, is the fact that how all this came out with him, and then he got scammed by his ex-wife, Kimora. She married some dude that scammed him out of millions. It's just been a downslope for Russell Simmons. And that should be another conversation we got to have here, right? Because I don't believe Russell Simmons did that stuff either when you look at everything. He got scammed by his ex-wife. These women came out of left field. The same thing we have with powerful men and things of that nature. Because I am not going to believe a he say, she say conversation. I need evidence, whether there's text messages, whether there's videos, whether there's audio, or that you went to the police after the situation happened. You went, and even the police didn't do anything. We have a record of you going to Johnny Law and saying, this man did X, Y, and Z to me, and even if you're not going to do anything, I came here to report it. He says, what about R. Kelly? It felt that way. I said that the other day, Clifton. I wasn't on this channel. I was on Cree's channel. When I was talking about R. Kelly, we in Chicago knew R. Kelly was guilty 20 years ago, right? My issue is, why were you getting him now? Because 20 years ago, he was still making a whole bunch of white folks millions. Whether he was performing, but more importantly, he wrote a gang of songs and produced a gang of songs like Katy Perry's, or like, who was the one white singer I can't think of? Dang it, I can't think of, not Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, just for an example. Like Lady Gaga, for example, right? You know what I'm saying? He was making millions writing for and producing for a whole bunch of white artists. But once he hit his peak and fell down, that's when they threw him to the wolves here. And I felt, he was guilty. But my thing is, if you're going to get his ass in 2003. Why are you coming out there in 2021? It's the I'm white and I say so. We need you to make more money, nigger. And now you're making no money. Now you got to go down. That's how I feel about R. Kelly. He's guilty, but I don't like the way they got him. You know, let me go down. Let me get the rest of the check. I said, I'm not going to lie. Cassie can still get it. I don't know, T. Orlando. The fact that my mind knows that she got all them sores in her mouth for how she got, I know that she might be the master glazer, but even then, I don't want to know about them sores in her mouth. Jonathan Majors, exactly. People are online today still trying to blame Jonathan Majors. That man was running away from that white woman. That tells you something. He was running away from her, and she was chasing him. I'm sorry. Victims are not chasing their assault. If he's running away, trying to get away, you're not trying to chase a man. I'm sorry. Yeah, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Kobe Bryant, Young Thug. Exactly. You know, so, yes, indeedy, guys. It's crazy as hell. Man. But we're going to get out of here, man. I'm doing this one a little short today, guys. I got things to do and everything. Let me see. Let me get the. Hey, by the way, guys, I'm on vacation now, so I'll be back this week for the 4th of July weekend, guys. I am on vacation. I'm just double check I'm not missing anything here. So we got everything. Cool. Let me get it going. Before I get out of here, guys, I'm on vacation for the 4th. I won't be going back to work to the middle of next week here. So if I'm not eating no barbecue, if I'm not cooking any barbecue, we're going to pull up here. Exactly. Wesley Snipes, Nate Parker, Cuba Gooding Jr. What are you saying here? Boondocks more or less predicted this. Hey, shout out to Boondocks. Wasn't that the first episode of Boondocks with the R. Kelly case? That was the R. Kelly case with the Boondocks first episode ever. But I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, click on that bell notification below. We're gonna be back this week, man, because I ain't got no work. See, when I ain't got no work or the family's not involved, you're gonna see me here on YouTube. And I don't gotta go back to work till next week. So we'll be back with Dick Nanigans. We'll be back with more local events. And if there's an update in the Diddy case, we're gonna come back on that as well. But on that note, guys, I'm out of here. Deuces.